This is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
With more than 6,000 hotels across the country, including La Quinta, Days Inn, and Super 8, a great hotel by Wyndham is closer than you think. Find one near you and book direct at wyndhamhotels.com.
It's 5:13. Let's get an update on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Telemonte.
Allow extra travel time on this wet Monday morning. Lakeshore Drive northbound at the Oak Street curve. The right lane remains blocked. Investigation of a much earlier major wreck happened just after 2 this morning. Kennedy is okay right now. The express lanes have yet to open on the inbound side. We're not seeing any significant delays. No problems to report other than the rain right now. The Edens, the Eisenhower, the Stevenson. There's inbound work on the Ryan, Roosevelt, Burn Circle. That's wrapping up. I-57, Bishop Ford, okay. There is a new lane configuration on the northbound Tri-State at the eastbound Reagan Tollway. Work starts today in Tinley Park on Harlan, 159th and 171st. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, here's our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Cloudy skies, morning rain. Some of that rain could be heavy along with a thunderstorm. Cool day today, high 54. Cloudy tonight with a low 41. Remaining cool times of rain for tomorrow, a high tomorrow at 53. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
We've just updated those temperatures for you. 44 at O'Hare, 44 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Yeah, brother.
Woo, party time.
Yeah, I got an industrial-sized bottle of Bombay Sapphire from you and donut holes, which is the traditional birthday breakfast.
I know. Well, happy birthday, Dan
Thank
Proft.
you so much.
How old are you? Come on. Because that's what the balloon says. We got you.
I'm younger than Man Cow.
Oh.
I'll tell you that. I'm younger than even the age Man Cow pretends to be.
Oh, hey. There
How
you
about
go.
that?
No, but happy birthday. And we got you gin because a long time ago you said you liked gin. I was thinking whiskey or scotch, and then that whole section's very confusing and very expensive. So I went with something more practical, more blue collar, more reasonable, but yet refined. It's gin.
Yeah, okay.
You know?
Thank you. Yes.
But you do drink gin, right?
I do drink gin. Oh, sure.
Oh, phew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we'll make some gin-based drinks later in the show. Do a little morning variety show. I'll make you a nice bee's knees in the 8 o'clock hour. How about that? How would that be?
I think that's great. So happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Have
All
a
right.
wonderful day.
Well, over the weekend, obviously, we've had another terrible incident, a shooting at a synagogue outside San Diego. And, well, all right, before we get serious, we have to indulge a little bit more frivolity. Hold on a second. Greg and Schaumburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, Amy, how is it to be dealing with an older man in your life?
Yes, right.
It's difficult, but it's going well so far. We're 10 minutes in, and all is fine.
Well, Dan, you pride yourself on your academic abilities, right?
Dan? Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. No, the answer was no. You're not an okay, Dan. You are a definite yes. Okay. You probably had these questions in Algebra 1. Remember, if Amy is X, and she's got an extreme deflator on her X, and you are 2X, and together you equal 75, then how old are you, Dan?
Thank you for the call, Greg. I'll have Amy work out that equation, and we'll report the answer later in the show.
I know you're. How old are you? Are you 40? No, you're 47. I think you're 47. You're knocking on 50's door.
People living in glass houses and stones. You know what I mean? You started out so well and you just couldn't leave it alone. So
you're going to make me...
You may just want to pump the brakes on the age talk.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, your skin looks great. That Tiege Hanley's really...
Thank you very much.
Honestly, you look like you're in your 30s.
I'm going through like a bit of a Benjamin Button phase.
Oh.
No. So it's fun. I'm getting younger. All right. Well, we need to... I can't segue from that. So cleansing breath, and we'll be back.
I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was. Now what I'm with isn't it, and what's it seems weird and scary to me. It'll happen to you.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents. When generic insurance takes hold, one handsome man and one flightless bird are teaming up to save the world. Money. Their message? Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. Their mission? Savings. Their relationship? Best friends. Say hello to Liberty Mutual's new spokes team. And Doug.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer. State laws apply.
Napa know-how.
You don't have to know fancy terms like ceramic, metallic, and calipers to know that this sound isn't a good thing. And now at most Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers, you'll get a $75 prepaid Visa card when you spend $250 on brakes. Do it yourself or have it done for you and save $75. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers. Exclusions apply. Offer ends 5/31/19.
Admit it, we're not taking and eating enough fruits and vegetables, and that's where Balance of Nature comes in. 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies, all in a single capsule. Now, it's easy and it's healthy. And yes, the testimonials you hear on the station are real. I've met and spoken with Dr. Douglas Howard a few times now, founder of Balance of Nature, very passionate about his product, about his customers. He showed me the emails, played the voicemails from real people who are living healthier lives because of Balance of Nature. And I'm one of them. So get on board and try Balance of Nature. And now's the perfect time to start because you can lock in your price for fruits and vegetables today and get free shipping on every order. If you lock in now, you won't have to pay more when the cost of produce rises later this year. So call today, 800-246-8751. Don't put it off any longer. 800-246-8751. Tell them to use promo code Chicago. Or simply go to balanceofnature.com, promo code Chicago.
As many as 25,000 Chicagoans have Charcot-Marie tooth disease. CMT is inherited and causes deterioration of the nerves that control muscle function of the foot and lower leg and hand and forearm. This deterioration is progressive, so the effects on your body get worse as you grow older, leading to significant problems with movement, touch, and balance as it advances. There is no treatment to ease the problems, and there is no cure for CMT. But you can help the CMT Research Foundation find a cure for CMT and have a great time doing it. Sign up to play in the CMT Research Foundation's Golf Challenge, being held Monday, June 24th at the Merritt Club in Libertyville, Illinois. Space is limited to 25 foursomes and is first come, first serve. Your foursome fee donation also includes lunch and dinner. There will be some great prizes, a putting contest, a closest to the hole contest, and 4 chances to win a brand new BMW if you can sink a hole in one. For more information, call Pat Livney, CMT Research Foundation Chairman and Founder, at 847-609-8525. We've been looking forward to spring, and finally the weather's getting warmer and all the outdoor blah of winter is starting to change to green. With the change of season also comes landscape maintenance. It's just one of those things that's got to be done. And it's got to be done right. Taking care of your properties is important. That's why you should choose AM Woodland Outdoor Design. AM Woodland Outdoor Design makes the outdoors come alive at your commercial, apartment building, or homeowners association. Spring will be here sooner than you think, and the expert team at AM Woodland Outdoor Design keep your properties looking their best all year long with a convenient maintenance contract. It's quality service with integrity and reliability every time. Contact them now and get your maintenance contract locked in for the season.
AM Woodland Outdoor Design, proudly serving Lake, Northern Cook, and Kenosha counties, helping make the communities they grew up in as beautiful as they can be. Visit amwoodland.com, that's amwoodland.com, or call 847-224-2167.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, you know why people hate politics?
Why?
Because you can't even mourn the dead and the injured. Pray for the injured, mourn the dead, pray for their immortal souls as well, without political sniping breaking out. So the synagogue shooting over the weekend outside of San Diego. And in addition to that, you have heroic stories of ordinary Americans rising to the occasion in the worst of circumstances. The 60-year-old woman, Lori Kay, who was murdered at the synagogue, jumped in between the shooter and her rabbi. She took a bullet for her rabbi.
I know. And today she's going to be buried. And that very rabbi that she saved is going to proceed over the funeral. And he's a wonderful man. And then you have a Border Patrol agent that recently converted to Judaism who drives 3.5 hours to pray every weekend to get there and the church. And then you have a man named Oscar Stewart, who, unlike the Parkland shooting security guard who just sat there and did nothing, this guy took on the shooter.
I heard gunshots. I saw everybody running, so I ran to the lobby where the guy was with the gun. And I saw him discharge 2 more rounds. As he was discharging the rounds, I ran up to him and I yelled at him, and he dropped his weapon and he ran out, and I chased him out of the sanctuary. I was in the military, and I think that's what I ran to fire. That's what I did. I didn't plan it. I think about it. It's just what I did. I chased him out into the street, into his car. I punched his car.
And then the Border Patrol agent actually got out and fired at the vehicle to stop the vehicle.
Well, struck it, yes.
Yeah, struck it. But they all work together and so selfless and so brave, and those are real heroes.
The police, the canine officer who was responding to the scene as the suspect was fleeing, he's the one who pulled over the suspect and took him into custody. So, Border Patrol agent, a 60-year-old congregant of this synagogue stepping into the line of fire to protect a rabbi who lost a finger in the shooting. The police officer. So many stories here. Another story of somebody who was visiting, and he ran out, to protect his grandson, I think. Was it?
Oh, yeah. There was a room full of children, and the rabbi ran in to see those children, too, because one of them was his granddaughters.
After the shooter left, this terrorist left, I turn around to assess the situation, and I walk into the lobby, and I see Lori laying on the floor unconscious. And her dear husband, Dr. Howard Kay, who's like a brother to me, is trying to resuscitate her. And he faints, and he's laying there on the floor next to his wife. And then the daughter, Hannah, comes out screaming, "Daddy and Mommy, what's going?" This is the most heart-wrenching sight I could have seen. I was frozen in time. I grabbed a prayer shawl, wrapped my arm, my fingers with it. That was just hanging, dangling, and bleeding all over the place. My congregation was gathered outside here, and I said, I got to do something. I got up on a chair right there, and I looked at our congregation, and I said, Am Yisrael Chai. We are a Jewish nation that will stand tall.
The husband, Dr. Howard Kay, I mean, this is just even more gut-wrenching. Physician, right? Called to tend to a wounded worshiper, then he faints when he realized that wounded worshiper is his wife. The other thing I was mentioning, 32-year-old flipped over a folding table as soon as he saw the shooter entering and told people to run. He went to look for his children, found 2 had been ushered out, and his 5-year-old was hiding in the bathroom. So he brought out a bunch of the kids to protect them as well.
Luckily, the 19-year-old suspect's gun jammed, and he also had a helmet or a camera on his helmet that he was wearing because he wanted to Facebook Live it, and that didn't happen either, punk.
Yeah, but it doesn't stop the politicization of it. Ocasio-Cortez used the occasion to push her gun control legislation that's pending in the Senate. Don Lemon over at CNN,
formerly known as Don Lemon.
this entire panel of CNN that was covering the White House Correspondents' Dinner Live.
And then they jumped into action to go cover this, please.
They had a extended discussion about whether or not to take President Trump's extension of sympathies for the victims seriously. Whether or not you should believe President Trump was genuinely extending sympathy for the victims of the shooting at the synagogue. I'm not kidding. Listen to this.
So this is tough because you have a death here and you have people who are injured.
Yeah.
You could have had more deaths. We want to give, on one hand, you want to give the president his due. But when you consider the language that we have been discussing over the last couple of days, especially with Joe Biden getting into the race, what the president has said, making excuses, revisionist history about what happened in Charlottesville and on, one has to wonder as a thinking, rational person if he means those words and if they ring hollow to Americans who have been looking for him to say those things and stay the course, as Angela has said, instead of trafficking in bigotry, in racism, in anti-Semitism, in hate, and making excuses for us.
It's just so tiresome.
I heard Trump's apology, but also President Trump called the rabbi, and that is
apology.
Not apology. I mean, his sympathies about the shooting.
Right.
But then he went on and he called the rabbi, and the rabbi, when the press conference started last night, Dan said, "Oh, wait, before we start, I want to tell you what President Trump did."
In my house, I received a personal phone call from our President Donald Trump. I was amazed to answer the phone and say the Secretary of the White House is calling. And he spent close to 10, 15 minutes with me on the phone. It's the first time I've ever spoken to a President of the United States of America. He shared with me condolences on behalf of the United States of America. And we spoke about the moment of silence. And he spoke about his love of peace and Judaism and Israel. And he was just so comforting that I'm really grateful to our president for taking the time and making that effort to share with us his comfort and consolation.
I'm sorry, that's not good enough for Don Lemon. I mean, it's just so tedious. It's so pathetic.
It's embarrassing.
Pathetic, the D.C. press corps. Most of it.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, since Biden's name was invoked and the D.C. press corps obsessed about Charlottesville all weekend, we'll rehash their rehashing of that at 5:38.
And later, move over homosexuals, heterosexuals, bisexuals. We now have something else, and we'll tell you what their mission is. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Rain showers and 44 degrees. There are reports this morning that Cook County's top prosecutor is being called to testify about the investigation, charges, and dismissal of charges in the case of actor Jussie Smollett. Sun-Times is reporting that Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx and her deputies have been subpoenaed in order to produce original documents in that criminal case. In late January, you may recall Smollett told police two masked men beat him and shouted racial and anti-gay slurs and poured bleach on him and tied a rope around his neck. Turned out to be a hoax. The rabbi from the Southern California Synagogue, which was targeted in a deadly shooting, is calling for unity. Grief-stricken Rabbi Israel Goldstein of the Chabad of Poway says terror rattled his community Saturday. Goldstein saying Lori Gilbert Kay died protecting that congregation.
This horrific, terrible event that has occurred here. In my own interpretation, Lori took the bullet for all of us. She died to protect all of us. She didn't deserve to die.
Goldstein's fingers were shot off in the attack, which left one woman dead and three others badly hurt. President Trump would be under indictment if he wasn't president. That, according to former Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates.
I believe if he were not the President of the United States, he would likely be indicted on obstruction.
That on NBC's Meet the Press. Former Vice President Joe Biden hits the campaign trail to rally with union members in Pittsburgh. 5 men trapped in a cave in southwestern Virginia have been rescued. Search and rescue coordinator Billy Crimes says one 22-year-old man was able to crawl out of that cave and alert authorities.
They were exhausted, starting to have some problems with hypothermia and some issues like that.
They became trapped Saturday night when rain caused ground inside that cave to become too slippery to get out. Chicago Police Department honoring 585 city officers who've died in the line of duty. A 24-hour vigil began late last night at the Gold Star Families Memorial and Park. A man is dead following a crash on Lakeshore Drive on Chicago's near north side. The victim was driving a sedan at a high rate of speed early this morning when he slammed into barriers near Oak Street. Chicago sports was the White Sox topping the Tigers 4-1 behind Reynaldo Lopez and 3 relievers, combining for 20 strikeouts. Cubs 6-5 winners over the D-backs in 15 innings, and the Fire fell 1-0 to Montreal. 5:34, time for a dry basement and a healthy home. It's time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity explains Trump's values.
Has there ever been a more conservative governing president in our lifetime? Oh, not really. You have Reagan and now Trump. In terms of justices, promise made, promise kept. Tax cuts, the highest in history. Regulation, deregulation. You never had anything like this.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-700-1368. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-700-1368. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-700-1368. 1-800-700-1368.
You've seen them in some of the finest homes, and now you too can add a beautiful sliding barn door to your home or business with styles that range from rustic to contemporary. Chicago Barn Door Company in Addison has barn doors made with new or authentic barnwood on display at one of the only showrooms of its kind in the area. We can also help you with reclaimed barnwood flooring, accent walls, and fireplace mantles. We cater to homeowners, designers, architects, or anyone that wants to add the warmth and charm of wood accents to their home or business. Chicago Barn Door Company offers expert advice with design, hardware, and installation to your complete satisfaction. Stop by and bring your ideas to the showroom in Addison. We have barn doors, barnwood accent walls, mantles, walnut slabs, and more. Information and directions are available at chicagobarndoor.com or check us out on Facebook. See, touch, and feel the charm of barnwood for an experience that you just can't get online at Chicago Barn Door Company, a family-owned business right here in Addison, Illinois. Again, for directions to our showroom, visit chicagobarndoor.com.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
537. Check on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Telemonte.
Travel times are already a little bit higher than usual on this Monday morning. Adams Tollway westbound, we're seeing a brief delay from the Devon Toll Plaza to Lee Street after an earlier crash. Kennedy Expressway outbound, it's getting a little bit heavy approaching 190. Westbound 190 has slow traffic. River Road to Mannheim, about 24 minutes from downtown to O'Hare. Inbound 20 The express lanes are open now on the inbound side. Around Eisenhower, it's getting congestion around, we're getting a little congestion around Des Plaines Avenue. Inbound Stevenson, scattered delays start at Cicero. 39 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 18 minutes, 9:50 to downtown. Bishop Ford, a 3-minute delay approaching the Verge. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, and your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, morning rain could have some thunderstorms. Some spots could see quite a bit of rain through the afternoon, high 54. Low 41 overnight. Tomorrow, cool, times of rain, high 53. Currently 44, next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. White House Press Corps had their annual correspondents dinner Saturday night.
I'm actually, a geek, and I watched it, and it was not fun. I mean, they had a historian up there speaking, and
no comedian this year.
Yeah.
Instead, you had Oliver Knox.
That's his name.
The head of the White House Correspondents Association. He offered a bit of an opening statement. Of course, a lot of back padding, a lot of self-referential rhetoric.
Oh, what a great job they're doing.
Yeah, well, they're all heroes. And also a bit of a commentary on President Trump and the climate for the White House Press Corps, the D.C. Press Corps these days.
But I do want to say this. In nearly 23 years as a reporter, I've been physically assaulted by Republicans and Democrats, spat on, shoved, had crap thrown at me. I've been told by senior administration officials of both major parties that I will never work in Washington again. And there was a brief moment in Afghanistan when I thought a soldier not quite old enough to shave would shoot me dead for the crime of taking a picture inside the presidential palace. And yet, I still separate my career into the period before February of 2017 and what came afterwards. And that's because February 2017 is when the President of the United States called us the enemies of the people. A few days later, I was driving my then 11-year-old son somewhere, probably soccer practice, when he burst into tears and asked me, "Is Donald Trump going to put you in prison?" Oh. At the end of a family trip to Mexico, he mused that if the president tried to keep me out of the country, quote, "At least Uncle Josh is a good lawyer and he'll get you home." Oh, hey, Uncle Josh. I've had to tell my family not to touch packages on our stoop. My name is on a statement criticizing the president for celebrating a congressman's criminal assault on a reporter. I've had death threats, including one this week. Too many of us have. It shouldn't need to be said in a room full of people who understand the power of words, but fake news and enemies of the people are not pet names, punchlines, or presidential.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Your colleagues there in the D.C., former colleagues in the D.C. Press Corps, what do you think? Daddy, is Donald Trump going to put you in jail? I mean, really?
That's when you have to man up and be a father and, squash that from your child's mind. Well, that's when you take a leadership role in your own family and say, that's not going to happen, son. And I don't know what you're hearing at school or from your friends, but yeah, we may not get along, but he's not going to throw me in jail.
Well, they believe that. I mean, the alleged adults believe that. So the kid is just repeating back to him what he's heard about how he's being persecuted. You find the D.C. Press Corps under threat of persecution, imprisonment from President Trump. Who's he tried to imprison? I mean, it's not like not like he's used the Attorney General's office to eavesdrop, like say Eric Holder did. It's not like he's committed that sort of a breach when it comes to a free and robust press, when it comes to the Fourth Estate.
I mean, they even Obama administration spied on a Fox reporter.
That's what I was
Right.
just referencing,
Okay.
James Rosen.
Yeah, James Rosen.
So,
Well, the only thing that President Trump did, he took away Jim Acosta's press credentials for a few days, but he got him back, and he kicked Jorge Ramos out of a press conference. That's the furthest thing from being imprisoned or not being let back into the country when you go on vacation to Mexico. I mean, this guy's got to grow a spine or grow up, you know what?
I understand he's the president of the United States. I don't always agree with his rhetoric. I've been saying this forever.
But he just painted him as a dictator and as a monster.
His bellicose rhetoric directed at the press, even going so far as to say enemy of the people, which is not a phrase I would endorse or use. Really? Imprisonment, their freedom is under threat with this president. The White House Correspondents' Dinner was just another example of what they don't get and what they're going to help maintain, which is the anti-establishment movement that put Trump in the Oval Office.
And I love it because for a second year in a row, President Trump had a competing, event.
Yeah, at a rally
he
in
had
Wisconsin.
a rally in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And just think last year of what Sarah Sanders went through. Remember when she sat there, she was a representative of the White House and sat there as they ridiculed her and made jokes about her
so
and
what?
talked about her appearance. Well, it was very uncomfortable.
Big deal.
So she didn't have to do that. This time, she was with the president in Green Bay.
Can you imagine Sleepy Joe?
No, that's not it. But we'll play it later. But she went up there on stage, and they loved her in Green Bay. And she got a very warm welcome, and she was good.
Well, the interesting thing is there's some belief, I don't know how much of this is true, but some belief that Trump being ridiculed by Obama at the White House Correspondents' Dinner was part of the impetus for him to run for president in the first place.
Oh.
They just can't get out of their own way. Dave in Racine, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Greetings. It's interesting that this guy from the Washington Press Corps, he's claiming that he would be jailed or imprisoned. The only one I think he's projecting to his kid his own attitudes, the leftist attitudes towards onto President Trump. I think the only person, it's the left that has wanted to imprison people for using the wrong pronoun, or they consider any speech contrary to theirs as violence and can be met with assault and injury.
Well, okay, yeah, college campus culture. Thanks for the call, Dave. Craig in Mount Greenwood.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Listen, Trump is a little bit inaccurate when he calls them the enemy of the people. These, I agree with the last caller. They are majorly leftists who hate the Constitution, hate America. They're anti-Constitution, anti-American leftists, the majority of them. So he's going easy on them when he says they're the enemy of the people. They don't tell us any of the good things that Trump does. They only talk all the negative and attack that guy.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Craig. It's interesting, too. Given the events of that day, Saturday, the synagogue shooting outside San Diego, and the issue of anti-Semitism in America, which we've been talking about with respect to, yes, Charlottesville, but also Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and her gal pals AOC and Rashida Tlaib. And also, again, the D.C. Press Corps. New York Times, the international edition. Did you see this cartoon?
Oh, it's repulsive. How dare they, honestly?
A guide dog with a prideful countenance and the face of Bibi Netanyahu leads a blind, fat Donald Trump wearing dark glasses and a black yarmulke. The dog wears a collar from which hangs a Star of David. A Jewish person in the form of a dog. Yeah. Well, that harkens back to harkens back to the World War II and the Holocaust. Even Bret Stephens over the New York Times was compelled to write about it. A despicable cartoon in the New York Times.
That he works
for whom he writes, yes.
Right.
The image had an obvious political message that the current administration, the United States, follows wherever Israel wants to go. This is false. He suggests you consider, for example, Israel's opposition to Trump's announcement he intended to withdraw U.S. forces from Syria. For some Times readers, or as often former readers, the answer is clear. The Times has a long-standing Jewish problem dating back to World War II, when mostly buried news about the Holocaust and continuing into the present day in the form of intensely adversarial coverage of Israel. The criticism goes double when it comes to the editorial pages, whose overall approach toward the Jewish state tends to range, with some notable exceptions. Yeah.
I'd cancel if I belonged. I'd cancel my subscription to the New York Times.
It was an error of judgment to publish it. Oh. The editor acknowledged.
Yeah,
the editor, deeply sorry.
They said on that day there was only one editor who had to approve it. Oh, really? That's what you're going with? Okay.
Mm-hmm. What about on campus? You want to talk about the rise of anti-Semitism? Is this being covered? Columbia University Students for Justice in Palestine chapter, advertised campus event with a picture depicting an Israeli soldier with horns coming out of his head. They used it to promote Israeli Apartheid Week. And, of course, anti-Semitic tropes are okay on the campus of Columbia. Yeah. In order to protest their so-called Israel Apartheid Week, they circulated the flyer through campus. At first glance, it looks somewhat unproblematic, but up close, one can easily see the depiction of the Israeli soldier, said a student supporting Israel chapter, bringing attention to this. Really, it's a character of Jews that's like from medieval times. So, the discussion by leading lights of the left about the state of Israel, about Bibi Netanyahu. And this is not to say you can't criticize Israelis, the state of Israel on policy. Of course you can. You can disagree with Netanyahu. Of course you can. The caricature of them, the rhetoric of Ilhan Omar, what's happening on college campuses, the New York Times seemingly never getting over their hagiographic profile of Hitler in the early 30s, talking about his mountain strolls with his dogs. Not kidding. We've read portions of the Times account of Hitler during his rise on this show. So you want to talk about anti-Semitism? Sure, we can talk about it. You want to talk about the D.C. press corps, all the heroes in the D.C. press corps? Speaking of reckoning with dark moments in our history, what about the dark moments of the press corps in our history and its history?
They should have brought that up on Saturday night.
Yeah, is that a conversation? How about that reckoning and taking that approach with the D.C. press corps that the leftists want to take with American society more generally, particularly if they can score some racial and particular identity politics points along the way. We're going to hear a lot of talk again this week about the rise of anti-Semitism in the wake of that synagogue shooting in San Diego, and we should talk about it. And we should provide the context, which you'll get here, and you won't get from all of those assembled heroes on Saturday night.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
It's Health Quest Radio, Chicagoland's longest-running health, news, and science show with your host, Dr. David Kolbaba.
You know, people who age slower live longer. It's our dirt cheap age analysis assessment. We can compare your biologic age with your chronologic age to determine how fast you're aging. Just a few seconds to safely scan for those advanced glycation end products that cause premature aging. And I'll pay for your first assessment. That's right, your first one is free. free. Then we'll give you a few things to do and retest in 60 days. It's our now. Some conditions and restrictions to apply. It's our dirt cheap age analysis assessment. Call 800-794-1855. It's Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11.
Hey, the rain's coming down today. It's going to be raining on and off throughout the week. And is your backup sump pump and your sump pump ready? And if not, you should call Permaseal, of course. If you have a sump pump, it needs to be checked to make sure it's working properly. A battery backup is your safeguard in the event of a pump failure or power outage. And remember that all sump pumps fail. It's not if, but when. And independent lab results show that Permaseal backup battery systems are your best value in backup sump pump protection. Since 1979, Permaseal has been providing dry, healthy basements and crawl spaces to close to 500,000 people all over Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. So get the peace of mind that comes with a dry basement or crawl space. Call 800-421-SEAL to schedule your free, no-obligation inspection. And if you're concerned about your sump pump system, you know who to call. Permaseal. Call them at the same number, 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325, or go to permaseal.net.
Hey guys, Ken here from Income Store. Did you know of the top 10 reasons an employee stays at a company for more than 2 years? The 7th reason is the pay or the salary. The first 6 reasons have nothing to do with money. Things like they feel part of a team, they know they belong, their voice is heard, they're respected. Also, employees go through 5 phases within a couple days to 6 months of any new position. Excitement, education, reality, doubt, then clarity. Did you know it's a manager's job to walk them to clarity as fast as possible? If you need to know these fundamental principles, fundamental? Did I just say that? I'm going to leave that in. If you need to know these fundamental principles, I can't say this. This is awesome. This is like a blooper roll. Hey, you know what? If you need tips and techniques like this to grow your business today, you got to check out door number 1 of Income Store. If you just need somebody to literally hold your hand and get you to the finish line, check out door number 2 of IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
My name is David Hochberg at Team Hochberg. If you're credit challenged, Team Hochberg has a special offer. Credit enhancement expert Gary Novell has taught me everything I know about credit and has helped thousands of radio listeners enhance their credit. If your credit is prohibiting you from purchasing a home or refinancing your existing home, Gary will help. Here's how it works. Call Team Hochberg now at 855-56-DAVID and we'll introduce you to Gary Novell. Invest in yourself by hiring Gary to enhance your credit, and Team Hochberg will refund Gary's fee when Team Hochberg closes your loan. If you'd like a professional to enhance your credit so you could purchase a home or refinance your existing home, call the local mortgage experts on Team Hochberg now at 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID. That's 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com.
Homeside Financial Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, MB 66761019, NMLS 1124061.
We've been looking forward to spring, and finally the weather's getting warmer and all the outdoor blah of winter is starting to change to green. With the change of season also comes landscape maintenance. It's just one of those things that's got to be done. And it's got to be done right. Taking care of your properties is important. That's why you should choose AM Woodland Outdoor Design. AM Woodland Outdoor Design makes the outdoors come alive at your commercial, apartment building, or homeowners association. Spring will be here sooner than you think, and the expert team at AM Woodland Outdoor Design keep your properties looking their best all year long with a convenient maintenance contract. It's quality service with integrity and reliability every time. Contact them now and get your maintenance contract locked in for the season.
AM Woodland Outdoor Design, proudly serving Lake, Northern Cook, and Kenosha counties, helping make the communities they grew up in as beautiful as they can be. Visit amwoodland.com, that's amwoodland.com, or call 847-224-2167.
In today's turbulent times, professionals from a variety of industries are faced with concerns regarding workplace violence and the harm it can cause to its employees. Workplace violence can manifest in any setting and oftentimes might come without warning. The team at P4 Security Solutions can assist your organization in mitigating risks to prevent you and your employees from becoming a victim.
Hi, I'm Lawrence Doria, President and CEO of P4 Security Solutions. As a lifelong Chicagoan and security expert with over 40 years in the industry, I take pride in providing our clients a variety of security offerings to address your risks and concerns. Our security services deliver customized offerings to address threats while maintaining continuity. P4 Security Solutions, your trusted advisor for uncertain times.
Contact P4 Security Solutions when you require active shooter training, workplace violence programs, off-duty police services, security assessments, personal protection, or any other of our security solutions. Visit our website at p4secure.com or call us at 312-502-1702 for immediate response.
AM 560, The Answer.
So did you see Avengers Endgame? Dan?
No.
Well, it was...
Why would I?
Well, it's a box office smash. $1.2 billion made over this weekend alone. But
Yeah.
And at the end of the movie, I'm not going to spoiler alert, we're not going to tell you how it ends, but it's obviously people are crying at the end of the movie, open wailing. I mean, it sounded, the theater I was in, it was uncontrollable sobbing. But in China, a 21-year-old student there watched the midnight premiere of the film with her friends, and she was crying, and everybody else was crying, but then she started bawling uncontrollably, and she was crying so much and crying so hard that she started hyperventilating, had chest pains, and had to be rushed to an emergency room. Her hand, she was so upset that her fingers became stuck in a clawed position too. So doctors gave her oxygen to calm her down, and she spent a few hours at the hospital.
Fascinating. So I was focused on the battle for mankind, the battle of life versus death, the battle to kill the Night King and the undead.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's where
the real stuff's at. Okay. 3 hours of your life. Ooh. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Off this segment, I don't know if it's a good question to ask. Why do you listen to AM radio at 6:06?
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
A man killed in a Lakeshore Drive crash this morning. WIND Chicago News Time 6.
Will he show up? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
He has to come before the House. He is the Attorney General of the United States.
Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar told NBC's Meet the Press she plans to question Attorney General Barr about Russia on Wednesday, but his House appearance Thursday's in question. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
Attorney General William Barr is warning Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee he won't show up if they stick to the format the chairman has proposed for the questioning regarding the Mueller report. Asked what he would do if Barr does not comply, Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler said the committee will have to subpoena him. Barr may skip the appearance if committee lawyers look to question him. Democrats continue to seek answers about possible obstruction of justice charges against the president. Dave?
John, a U.S. service member has been killed in Syria. It happened today in a non-combat related incident. The U.S. military's coalition battling ISIS in Syria has about 2,000 troops still there in the country. The funeral's today for Lori Gilbert Kay, the woman who shielded her rabbi, saving him during Saturday's synagogue shooting.
But the main thing...
Hundreds attended a vigil last night in Poway, California. Rabbi Israel Goldstein was also shot and injured.
I lost my index finger on this hand.
And he said terrorism will not take them down.
We need to battle darkness with light.
The accused gunman's in custody. He's 19. Someone with his same name posted what's described as a manifesto online calling Jews evil, praising recent mosque and synagogue attacks. President Trump minutes ago tweeted that he talked at length yesterday to the rabbi, offering his warmest condolences, saying what a great guy. Former Vice President Joe Biden will hold his first campaign event since joining the crowded Democratic race for president. He'll be speaking at a union event in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania today. This is Fox News.
44 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. There are reports that Chicago's top prosecutor will be called to testify about the investigation, charges, and dismissal of charges in the case of actor Jussie Smollett. Sun-Times is reporting that Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx and her deputies have been subpoenaed in order to produce original documents in that criminal case. Chicago Police Department is honoring the 585 city officers who have died in the line of duty. A 24-hour vigil began late last night at the Gold Star Families Memorial and Park near 18th Street and Waldron Drive. A man is dead following a crash on Lakeshore Drive on the near north side. It happened early this morning when a sedan traveling at a high rate of speed slammed into the barriers at the Oak Street curve. Parents of 5-year-old Andrew Friend Jr., the Crystal Lake boy found dead last week, are scheduled to return to court today. Joanne Cunningham and Andrew Friend Sr. were charged in the murder of A.J. Friend after his body was discovered in a shallow grave near Woodstock. Authorities say the conditions of 5 have improved 2 days after they were sickened by ammonia leaking from tanks in northern Illinois. Lake County Sheriff's Office says 5 have been upgraded to serious from critical, including a firefighter. Reynaldo Lopez and 3 White Sox relievers combined for 20 strikeouts to tie a Major League Baseball record. White Sox topped the Tigers 4-1 guaranteed rate field. Cubs 6-5 winners over the D-backs in Phoenix. It took 15 innings, and the Fire fell 1-0 to Montreal. The news, a service of Express Services Incorporated. You work hard, you know what it takes to succeed. Now it's time to put your experience to work and launch your business for a limited time. Employment professionals will give you $25,000 to open your franchise. Get to know Express. Visit expressfranchising.com today. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Do you own or run a thriving business in the Chicagoland area? Have you overcome obstacles to make your business what it is today? If that's your business, then AM 560 wants to tell your story on the AM 560 Business Tour, presented by Signature Bank. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson will be broadcasting live from businesses all around Chicagoland, telling success stories of thriving, successful businesses. Hey, if that's you, tell us about it. Visit 560theanswer.com/business and submit your information. That's 560theanswer.com/business.
All money managers might seem the same, but while some give their clients cookie-cutter portfolios, Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to your goals and needs. Some only call when they have something to sell. Fisher calls regularly, so you stay informed. And while some advisors are happy to earn commissions whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come from other money managers. So if you're in or nearing retirement, talk with us and find out why investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments. Clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jim Keene Jr. of the Mail House, Inc., a family-owned and operated digital print mail house with a specialty in political advertising and a customer of Signature Bank. We knew that getting a loan to buy our business wouldn't be easy, so we turned to one of our trusted friends for a referral. She told us about the outstanding level of customer service her business received at Signature Bank since becoming one of their first customers in 2006. Today, we couldn't be happier. Not only did Signature help us finance the purchase of the mail house, but they supported our growth as we modernized our operations in mailing as well as from traditional to digital printing. If you're looking for a great bank to grow your business, take a look at Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
With more than 6,000 hotels across the country, including La Quinta, Days Inn, and Super 8, a great hotel by Wyndham is closer than you think. Find one near you and book direct at wyndhamhotels.com.
It is 6:07. Let's get an update on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim.
Flight boards at Chicago's airport show some delays and a number of cancellations as well this morning. The northbound tri-state traffic slow from 31st to the Eisenhower, with the westbound Reagan Tollway exit ramp down to one lane. On Reagan Tollway, traffic slow 83 to the tri-state. Eden's 19 minutes like Cook at the junction. Kennedy 26 minutes O'Hare to downtown. A little quicker than the express. Outbound 32 minutes downtown to the airport. It's slow going on westbound 190 from the Kennedy to Manheim. Got Eisenhower, 38 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 31. Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 23 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishopford, 33. That's traffic. I'm Jim Alamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Steve Williams.
Considerable cloudiness. It'll be cool. Some morning rain, which could be heavy. Thunderstorm today, high 54. Cloudy tonight with a low 51. It'll stay cool tomorrow. Times of rain, the high near 53. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
A chilly, cold rain, 43 at O'Hare. Next news, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by On Target Radio. From firearms and Second Amendment rights to personal freedoms and government intrusions. Listen here Sunday nights at 9.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and I've got a simple question for you. Why do you listen to AM radio? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Really interesting piece in Politico over the weekend, the lo-fi voices that speak for America. The death of AM radio being greatly exaggerated, to borrow a Twainism. Even in decline, it has a strength that politicians and media insiders who want to understand America would do well to heed. In 2019, thousands of AM stations remain on the air, many of them thriving, in part because they serve unique sets of people whose voices aren't always heard loudly. For generations, it was considerably cheaper to buy or start an AM station than any other form of mass media, making ownership more accessible to people of color, immigrants, non-English speakers, and those with political views outside the mainstream. And talk a little bit about Ajit Pai, who is FCC chairman and a strong proponent of the AM band. What they did, too, is sort of cool. They looked at some examples of what they were just describing. AM stations that provide amplification and consideration for communities that get neither from the D.C. press corps, from the big dailies, from the appointment television news, and so forth. Local radio station in inner city Baltimore. There's a terrible shooting there yesterday, too.
Oh, that's right.
I think the last I saw was 1 dead, 7 injured. This guy opens fire, a bunch of people having a barbecue. Before he became one of the most influential local radio talk shows in America, Larry Young served 23 years in the Maryland State Legislature. He doesn't think he's lost any influence. I've got a pulpit, says Larry Young, who hosts a morning show on Baltimore's WOLB. He's an opinion maker, convener, local politician. If I was to say I'm not feeling well, I got a cold, you best believe I'm going to have at least 4 of my listeners bring me some soup, he laughs. He laughs, talking about the connection he has with his audience. Spend a day with Larry Young, and you get a sense of his passions. Chief among them are politics. Then in St. Michael's, Arizona, KTNN, AM 660, the voice of Navajo Nation. Dee Yazzie is perhaps the most important Navajo language broadcaster in the world. Our main listeners are people who are out in the rural areas where they don't have electricity, running water. She talks, they have, very much like we do here, they have a Navajo word of the day segment.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, maybe we could do words with Navajos with Proft and do that.
We have
see if we can have a
magnets.
like
Do
a
they
sister
have-
station. Yeah.
Huh? Does he have a magnet system set up?
They have a lot to talk about, though. Poverty rate, Navajo
Sure.
Nation, 38%. Suicide rate, double the U.S. average.
Oof.
Yeah, I mean, so the voice of rural Nebraska, KRVN AM 880 AM. Occasionally, if you tune in to Susan Littlefield's broadcast on KRVN when she's working from home, you'll hear the meowing of, or mewing, I should say, mewing, not meowing, mewing of some 60 EUs she raises on her farm.
That's awesome.
This is our lifestyle. When we talk about it, we live it. And it's a 50,000 watt station, so you could hear that station in 8 states. I mean, it's the same thing like WLS, world's largest store. I mean, on a clear night, you can hear it in Dallas.
I used to work overnights or late, 7 to 11, and I'd get people calling in from Georgia and South. I mean, it was crazy. Kentucky, Tennessee, that's all. Yeah, they got a lot of watts. We need to bump up our wattage here.
Kansas City, Heartland Spanish Language Hub, KYYS 1250. Moderate, sort of moderate political talk show Jack Heath hosts in New Hampshire, where all the presidential aspirants, are required effectively to make a stop.
It's an important place.
Lake Charles, Louisiana is another station they profile, KJEF, AM 1290. Cajun culture, that focus, that community. I mean, that's the thing about it, why the rumors of death are greatly exaggerated. As I said, it's not going away. 2 reasons. One, the expanse of communities AM radio serves, as highlighted in this piece, as I was just running through some examples. And number 2, the nature of from my perspective, and why I listened to AM radio before I was on AM radio, the nature of the relationship between the listener and the broadcaster. It's two-way in a way that obviously print is not and television is not, and even digital in so many ways really isn't. You're talking you're not talking with.
Right.
Big
we
difference.
Always have people share in the conversation. 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment.
Ron in Salem, Wisconsin, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Amy and Dan. I listen for a few different reasons. One of them you mentioned is you can converse. We hear all this stuff on the news and the radio, and we get on your station. We can vent a little bit, and we can give our point of view. The second is I work in construction field, and you be amazed at how many people that don't listen to talk radio. They're not informed. They don't know any issues. They don't even know some of the today's stories that happened or yesterday's stories. The third reason is I think FM radio must be on the decline, because if I want to listen to music, they play this. I haven't listened to FM radio in years. I turn it on. It's the same song I heard when I turned it off. So you can listen to Pandora or whatever if you want to hear music.
Right.
If you want to hear intelligent talk, we listen to you.
Thanks for the call, Ron. Appreciate it. He points up something else, too. You can have 24-hour broadcast day like these cable news shows have.
Right.
And on any given day, you may not learn anything, because it literally is just surface skimming repetition of what's ever happening in real time.
Mm-hmm. The same producers take that same lead story and it's rinse and repeat. Maybe they'll change up a soundbite, but they don't even do that.
There's no discussion about it. To the extent there is, it is first level. You don't get second or third level analysis. What you have in the rest of the media, as far as I'm concerned, as a consumer myself, perspective on this, is at best 100 level coursework. And what you can get, you don't get it from every show, certainly. And that's why I don't listen to very many shows on radio, but I listen to a couple on NPR, and I listen to a couple conservative
listen
talkers.
to this one.
Yes. 200, 300, 400 level coursework in economics, in politics, in culture, in art. You can have an in-depth discussion because this is a long-form format, and we try to take advantage of the fact that you can do a 10-minute interview. You can dig. You can have a 10, 12-minute conversation and include anybody who wants to be included, and dig. Rather than just saying, some people think this and some people think that, and the truth is somewhere in the middle, and here's a bite of one person on this side, and here's a bite of some other person on the other side. There's no context, there's no consequence, there's no explanation, and no one is making an argument. No one is making a case. They're just taking a position, like a politician, which, by the way, is why politicians are the worst guests to have, and we rarely have them, because if they're not willing to really engage and go to that level of depth, then you're abusing this communication channel that you have. I'm not here to listen to somebody recite their press releases. That's nonsense. But that's what the cable is. That's what most news reporting is, print reporting.
And also, too, I like talk radio because you can hear about the host's role in the community. Like, I find you very interesting. This just got weird. No, but I know what your role in the community is. And I know, you've run for governor. You've been there. You've done things. You played basketball at the YMCA. I mean, these are really fun talk topics.
No,
it's just
it's scintillating.
Character development.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, right. There's no question. Finding out all of the fascinating nuances of me is a huge piece of it.
Cat named Angel. You're a regular guy.
Yeah. Ron on the south side.
Happy birthday, Dan.
Hey, thanks, Ron. Appreciate it.
Okay. You know what? For a lot of the same reasons that the last callers said, but I enjoyed the discourse between the callers and the hosts. I also, AM radio, I do enjoy some variety of talk show hosts, and also I really have to listen to my White Sox, and believe it or not, I listen to it just the radio.
Old school.
But
I love it.
Absolutely, but that's it, and I would just say this.
I'm no Ed Farmer.
I have no use for FM radio. Is mainly music, and I just have my own collection of jazz, which I listen to. And I don't want to listen to music, but I just enjoy AM radio, and you all are really one of my favorite shows. Have a good day. Happy birthday again, Dan.
Thanks for taking a break from Miles Davis and joining us, Ron. Appreciate that. Candace in Mount Pleasant.
Hi, Dan and Amy. Good morning. I love AM radio. I think it's very educational. I'm more educated than my friends. I turn them on to AM radio. Then they're all of a sudden like, hey, I listen to it too now. I listen to liberal AM radio in Kenosha, which is hilarious, and I call up. And I just find that people who listen to AM radio are far more educated. I mean, look at your show. Look at, Words with Dan, your interviews. You have deep people on, you have the top politicos, and then look at the Dennis Prager show. I mean, his show the wisdom is incredible. I love AM radio. It is definitely a community.
Thanks for the call, Candace. Appreciate that. All right, looks like we can continue working. Good news.
WIND Chicago. It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text while driving.
If you've been in business more than 20 minutes, you've probably printed your logo on all kinds of promotional products. We all know promotional products work because they're everywhere from sales meetings and corporate events to trade shows. Ever wondered why or how to best use promotional products to grow your business? Let us show you today for free. We're 4imprint, promotional product experts at your service. We're giving away an ebook called Promotional Products Work, absolutely free, to everyone who texts radio to 88988. At 4imprint, we make your logo look perfect on thousands of promotional items. With our 100% guarantee, it'll be right the first time, on time, every time. Your free ebook will reveal valuable insights that can attract new customers, build your brand, help your cause, or simply grow your business. Get the ebook Promotional Products Work absolutely free by texting radio to 88988. That's RADIO to 88988.
The school year is rapidly coming to an end, and maybe you're looking back at this past year and you aren't too happy with your child's school experience. Well, now is the perfect time to start thinking about doing something different this fall. Don't send your child back to a school you just aren't happy with. Start thinking about sending your child to a private school at half the regular price, thanks to halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you can find local private schools from across Chicagoland, offering vouchers for a full year of tuition at half the price with no catch. Find a school near you, purchase the tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. It's that simple. Halfpriceschools.com has schools located all across Chicagoland, including Schaumburg Christian School, Westminster Christian, Kingswood Academy in Darien, Midwestern Christian Academy in Chicago, Covenant Christian in Aurora, Christian Liberty in Arlington Heights, and Calvin Christian in South Holland. Make private school affordable for your family for the first time this year. These vouchers will sell out. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. That's halfpriceschools.com.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare contracts, and in the process started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. I guarantee if we can't cancel your timeshare contract, you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100. 800-290-7100.
So I was at the gym the other day, and this lady came up to me and said, does balance of nature really work? What difference has it made in your life? And I said, well, you know what? I used to wake up in the middle of the night with horrible leg and foot cramps from lack of potassium, lack of probably bananas and fruits and vegetables. And I don't have that anymore, all thanks to Balance of Nature. It's 10 servings of 31 fruits and veggies, all in a single capsule with no dyes or preservatives. Because admit it, none of us eat enough fruits and vegetables on our own. And that's why Balance of Nature is so great. It's easy and it's healthy. Folks, the testimonials you hear here right on AM 560 are real. I've met Dr. Douglas Howard, founder and creator of Balance of Nature. He showed me the emails, played the voicemails, and now I'm giving Balance of Nature to Peyton and Eli, and they're excited to take it. So you should get on board, too, and take Balance of Nature. Here's the phone number, 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use promo code Chicago. Lock yourself in for fruits and vegetables for an entire year, and you'll get free shipping. And if you do lock in now, you won't pay more when the cost of produce starts to rise later this year. So call one of the health coaches right now to place your order, 800-246-8751, or simply go to balanceofnature.com, promo code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, President Trump on Saturday was in Green Bay, Wisconsin for one of his signature rallies.
It was fun. Did you watch? A lot more fun than the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Yes, that is a low bar. And, I mean, there was just the way he does these rallies. The conversation he relayed to the assembled crowd about that he had with MBS, the King of Saudi Arabia. I mean, just the way he says things it's difficult not to find humorous.
Saudi Arabia, very rich country. We defend them. We subsidize Saudi Arabia. They have nothing but cash. Right?
Cash.
We subsidize.
Cash.
And they buy a lot from us. $450 billion they bought. You know, you had people wanting to cut off Saudi Arabia. They bought $450 billion. I don't want to lose them. But the military, we subsidize Saudi Arabia. I called the king. I like the king. I said, King, we're losing our ass defending you, King, and you have a lot of money. And he said, but why would you be calling me? Nobody's ever made such a call before. I said, that's because they were stupid. So we're working a deal with Saudi Arabia. So many things.
Oh, okay, all right. That's your Saudi Arabia story for the evening.
Oh, but it was, I mean, it's fun because he... the king, I love the king. But he slammed the trio of 2020 Democratic presidential hopefuls, and the crowd loved it.
Can you imagine Sleepy Joe, Crazy Bernie? You look at the candidates, right? I think Pocahontas, she's finished, she's out. She's gone. No, when it was found that I had more Indian blood in me than she did, And then it was determined that I had none, but I still had more. That was the end of her 32-year scam on colleges. But can you imagine any of these people up here doing what I'm doing? There'd be 200 people show up if they were president. If they weren't president, nobody would show up. Is that right?
He's not wrong. Former Texas congressman and current presidential candidate Beto O'Rourke, Robert Francis Frost. University of Nevada, Las Vegas, UNLV, the Runner Rebels on Friday. 35 people were there, according to a Bloomberg reporter. The rally was supposed to be held in the courtyard outside, but students told me no one is on campus on Fridays because it's mainly a commuter school, and no one's going to stick around for Beto. Yeah, Mayor Pete has really taken the punch out of Beto's campaign, hasn't he?
Yeah, he sure has.
And Beto's helping with important policy statements like calling for the establishment of farm-to-table restaurants in every community to combat poor nutrition. What are we gonna have? What are we gonna have? Like government-run farm-to-table restaurants?
And essentially, isn't everything really farm to table? I mean, I hate this like farm to table concept, please. But that was his. That's his.
It's his big idea.
Big idea. Okay.
It's a big idea. You got Yang, who's campaigning by hologram and wants nobody to touch his wang. Right? He's against circumcision. That's his big idea. And you got Beto, who wants to install farm-to-table restaurants in every community. Gosh! These guys are like, this is like a Portlandia skit, these guys. Yeah. It really is.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft, the birthday boy.
Oh, boy. I'll have Diamond and Silk sing happy birthday to me at 6:36.
Awesome. But first, let's get straight into that newsroom, find out what's going on here at home and around the world. Here is Mike Scott.
Rain showers, 43 degrees. There are reports Chicago, the top prosecutor in Cook County will be called to testify about the investigation, charges, and dismissal of charges in the case of actor Jussie Smollett. Sun-Times reports Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx and her deputies have been subpoenaed and ordered to produce original documents in that criminal case. An 18-year-old naval recruit has died after collapsing during physical training last week at the service's boot camp at Naval Station Great Lakes. Seaman recruit Kelsey Nobles died at a local hospital. That's where she was transported after suffering cardiac arrest while conducting her final physical assessment before the end of recruit training. Nobles, the second Navy recruit to die this year under similar circumstances, 20-year-old seaman recruit Kira Evans collapsed and died on February 22nd. 4 are dead after a crane tumbled off the top of a building under construction in Seattle on Saturday. NBC's Molly Hunter with the latest.
Investigators are going to be looking at what role weather played, where there are especially high winds. We also know that 2 people have been released from the hospital. 1 person remains.
One is a student at Seattle Pacific University, and the Seattle Times says 2 of the dead are crane operators. The Pentagon says it sent 2 naval ships through the Taiwan Strait late Sunday, despite opposition from China. Tennessee authorities are confirming another death and a series of murders. Tennessee authorities say the victims were killed by a man with a history of violence. They have arrested a 25-year-old suspect after a brief manhunt. South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg sitting down with the Reverend Al Sharpton today. In New York City, the Democrat presidential candidate is lunching at the activists' restaurant in Harlem. Chicago Police Department honoring 585 city officers who have died in the line of duty. A 24-hour vigil began late last night at the Gold Star family's memorial and park. A man is dead following a crash on Lakeshore Drive. On the near north side, early this morning, a sedan crashed through barriers on the Oak Street curve. And the parents of the 5-year-old Crystal Lake boy found dead last week are scheduled to return to court today. Joanne Cunningham and Andrew Friend, Sr., were charged with the murder of A.J. Friend after his body was discovered in a shallow grave just outside of Woodstock. White Sox topped the Tigers at Guaranteed Rate Field 4-1. Reynaldo Lopez and 3 relievers combining for 20 strikeouts. Ben Zobrist, the game-winning RBI double in the top of the 15th. Cubs 6-5 winners over the D-backs in Phoenix. The News is a service of Wyndham Hotels and Resorts with more than 6,000 hotels across the country, including La Quinta, Days Inn, Super 8. A great hotel by Wyndham is closer than you think. And find one near you and book direct at wyndhamhotels.com. 6:33 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is not the biggest fan of social media.
I don't want to do Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm sorry. People spend more time apologizing and taking stuff down and getting blasted. I hate it. That's why I only post animal videos. I only post cute puppy pictures and videos on Twitter. I ain't doing it.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
When it's cold outside, you can dress for it. But when your furnace gives out, hey, a blanket fort can only do so much. So call your local 1-Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll replace your old furnace with a new high-efficiency one. And that beats a bunch of blankets any day. Right now, cozy up to big savings on a complete heating system. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1-Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Hiring? Aren't you tired of hoping the right candidates see your job posts? It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology finds and invites qualified candidates to apply. So instead of hoping you find that needle, ZipRecruiter finds it for you. And hiring is a whole lot easier.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter now for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
My name is David Hochberg of Team Hochberg. This email is from Debbie. Quote, thank you for all your help, patience, caring, and understanding refinancing my home. Team Hochberg made the transaction stress-free, and I enjoyed working with everyone. From getting a loan started to receiving weekly updates through the closing agent, who explained all the closing documents and closed my loan at a time which best fit my hectic schedule. I'll highly recommend Team Hochberg to everyone I know looking for a mortgage. I'm so grateful I called Team Hochberg after hearing one of your radio ads. Team Hochberg is truly the best. If you're interested in purchasing a new home or refinancing your existing home and would like to receive the same level of service Debbie received, give us a call now at 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID. That's 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com.
Homeside Financial Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, MB 66761019, NMLS 1124061.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
It is 6:36. Let's check the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Inbound Kennedy traffic is slow from 190 to Lawrence, Addison to California, and from the Hubbard Tunnel to the Burns Circle. 35 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 14 from Montrose, 12 on the Express, about 39 minutes downtown to the airport. Eden's 22 minutes Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 19. Inbound Eisenhower, looking at 46 minutes, 390 to downtown, 32 from Manheim, outbound 33 minutes to 390. Stevenson, 57 minutes, 355 for the drive, 42 from the Tri-State. Ryan is 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 27 minutes, siding to the merge. Bishop Ford, 33. Northbound Lakeshore Drive's bottled up, 57th before 47th with crash. Traffic, I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Morning rain, some heavy rain showers are expected through the area, like in Aurora right now, and a thunderstorm could pop up. Cloudy, cool, 54 today. Currently 43. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, this was a sort of an interesting makeshift focus group. I like this better than those CNN makeshift focus groups. This was done by Vice News. They invited a bunch of black men and women to their Brooklyn office, some black conservatives, some black liberals, male, female, and hashed out a couple things. They hashed out the differences of opinions as it relates to both Trump and Obama. And the reason I liked it is because the moderator just sort of throws out a question and then he lets them hash it out. And the men and women, did so passionately but respectfully. So it was actually a pretty interesting conversation on Trump and Obama. Listen.
3 words or less. What is your reaction when you see a black person wearing a MAGA hat?
Well, there's a story.
Independent-minded brother.
Bold.
Confused. Cringe.
You do you.
Looks good on you. It can't fit on my head.
I saw true hate coming from the left, and it was white people calling me Uncle Tom. Pretty much, white people tell me I'm not black enough.
Aunts won't speak to me. Even now, I got aunts that don't talk to me because I want to be white.
The people that call me the nastiest, all kinds of house Uncle Tom, all this stuff.
I've been called a bed wench.
That's how racist the left still is.
For the black conservatives, how do you align with white conservatives when they speak mal of black people?
You call them out. My whole thing that's
not
for
even
me,
calling them out, but just how do you stand with them when they are speaking mal
how
against
do you stand with Hillary
them?
Clinton when she calls kids super predators?
You know what I'm saying? But there are going to be some racists all over the place. So now it's okay, watch him out.
Believing in Trump's rhetoric, just morally, I don't understand. Especially a black person, because just him as a person, as an entity, is just super corrupt.
Who here voted for Barack Obama?
Just about everybody.
Twice.
Campaign for him in 08.
A semi-personal question. Did anyone vote for him just because he was black?
Not just, but that was a big reason I voted for him.
See, I'll admit, it's really funny because I'm a conservative, and I was so available to be used by all of the systems that made that person president. This person was born and raised in wealth and privilege his entire life. And the idea that this person was somehow more connected to me because we share the same skin color is crazy.
Yep.
But I bought it.
That's the one reason why I'm conservative now, because I'm willing to vote for somebody because of the way they look. And look what it did for me. Absolutely nothing.
Who is disappointed with the Barack Obama presidency?
I love that. Hearing from the conservatives who voted for Obama, really interesting. And then they go on to the moderator asks another question, react to the belief that being black is synonymous with being a Democrat. And listen to some of these reactions.
I want to hear what your reactions are to black voters being synonymous with the Democratic Party. We've been on the receiving end of about 50 years of an onslaught of PR. It comes from our entertainers, it comes from our ball players, it comes from our singers, it comes from the Democratic politicians who, most of which are black and empty, but are being used to sell us this idea of the Democratic Party being the home of African Americans.
It's not as much groupthink as people assume it is, as much as it's harm reduction.
Who here believes that the black vote has been taken for granted?
Oh, yeah.
Who here believes that the black vote should be courted more?
Oh, then yeah, of course.
Why do you not feel that
I don't
way?
trust when they start courting us. I'm always oh God, what do they want? What are they trying to do? And then we're gonna be left with nothing.
Is it taken for granted? Of course. Should it be courted? I guess. I mean, a person has to serve the majority. So no matter who you vote for, the majority of this country ain't me. Now, if you want to talk about micro level politics and councilmen and who's sitting on the student board, who's sitting as the mayor, now we could talk about that all day.
I strongly agree with him when he says that we don't talk enough about local politics.
So that's where I'm at. That's why I say courting black vote, you could do it.
Yeah, it's a lot of interesting points made there, and just sort of psychoses that you need to break through. Like when the woman said, if a conservative is courting me, I'm like, oh, what are they trying to do? Yeah. How are they trying to, basically stick it in my back? And so just really interesting. And then some of some of those conservative gentlemen had to say that you heard. For more on this topic and others, we're pleased to be joined again by our friends Diamond and Silk. They are hosts of The Viewer's View, Fox Nation, and stars of the documentary Dummycrats. Diamond and Silk, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having us. Before we get started, we just want to say one thing to you.
What's that?
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, boy.
Happy birthday.
It's better than Marilyn Monroe did for Kennedy.
Happy birthday, dear Dan. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much. All right, please.
Happy birthday, Dan.
Please cut that. I want that for my personal collection. Diamond and Silk, thank you so much. That was lovely. And melodic. You ladies should cut an album.
You guys, you know what? You should do a Christmas album.
Yeah.
Because you can harmonize well.
No. I don't think Diamond Voice is going to be on a Christmas album. No.
Oh, wow.
Oh, a very Diamond and Silk Christmas.
She's going full Beyonce on Diamond there. Yeah. Forget the Destiny's Child crew. We're going Diamond and Silk. So why don't we start? I found that Vice Roundtable really interesting because it was pretty unvarnished, everybody's opinions, but it was respectful. And I liked what let's start on the other side. The what that woman said that I just referenced, like if a Republican or a white conservative tries to make an overture to me, I'm like, what are they trying to do? How are they trying to scam me? How are they trying to get one over on me? That's a real thing we need to get over.
Okay, it is. And it's a condition of the mindset because your mama, her mama told you to fear when somebody have a conservative point of view, or if it's a conservative that's white, you need to fear them. You need to question their motives. You need to act as if they have motives. That is all conditioned behavior. But I want people to even drop conservative and liberalism and just drop all of it. Drop Democrat, drop Republican for a moment. Who is doing the job? Who is making your life better? And that's who you should vote for.
That's right.
You know, let's drop the titles and let's start looking at the person.
Yeah, because one thing about the Democrats that I found is that they want to character assassinate an individual. That's what they do. The first thing they do is bring out a sex scandal, say that this person is a racist, that person is a homophobe. They make up all of these words that have a particular meaning, but they take and conflate the two. And whenever they do that and you look at the individual, you don't see the individual for the person that they truly are. You see the individual for what someone told you that they were. You never got to really know that person. So when a person come up and say, well, Donald Trump is a racist, well, when we ask, well, how is he a racist? They can't tell us anything.
Right, they don't know.
You two ladies are former Democrats, and what was your aha moment?
Whenever he went down the escalators and said he wanted to secure the border,
right.
I want to bring back jobs, it made sense. Wait a minute. We've been sitting around here complaining. We want equality. We want to be able to obtain the American dream. We want economic opportunity. You got some man that will say it boldly and proudly.
That's right.
And we can have that. Who happens to be a businessman who took $1 million and turned it into billions. Oh, this is your man right here.
That's right. He also had solutions for problems and for issues that was plaguing the community. It's like, okay, the jobs are gone, and you see people standing on the street selling drugs. Nobody have a job. But President Trump came along, and he basically had the solutions to them. You have illegal aliens coming over here, bringing down the wages, taking your jobs. It's affecting the black community. It made sense. But you had all of these politicians that's been in these different offices for all of these years, and nobody had the solution to solve the issues that's been plaguing the community.
It was going to be the same old with Hillary Clinton.
Right.
And we knew that from day one. We knew it. It was going to be the same old thing, all talk and no action, and
That's
somebody
right.
go missing in action.
That's right.
We knew with Donald Trump, President Trump, he was going to change the game, and now look. And so I have to commend Vice. You know, I don't really look at their platform or anything because they can be nasty
They are
and vicious
biased,
too.
yep.
But I have to commend them for even having the conversation
Yes.
And Democrats, black people need to understand, whenever a conservative, whether they're black and white, come talk to you about policies, about what's happening in our country, you don't need to become suspicious of that. Just take it, just pay attention, just listen. Eat what you want on the plate or leave the rest on the plate. Eat what you can, leave the rest on the plate. But this thing, and see, that's what also the left has done. The left always try to paint conservatism, Republicans as something either racist, something bad, and now if you pull up your internet and there's AOL, now they're talking white nationalists. All of these key buzzwords to make people afraid, to make people question.
That's right.
And it's so sad and it's sick.
And what about whenever a Democrat come up to you talking all of these different narratives and these different tactics and using these different trigger words to you? Do you feel suspicious then? And you should feel suspicious because, especially as a black person, you've been voting for the same system that's been keeping you stuck, looking really messed up anyway.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
One of the other things, and it came out during that discussion, it wasn't in the clips we played, but the issue of reparations. And there was a disagreement between a guy who believes, reparations are required to right past wrongs, and this woman who had run-in with the law earlier in her life, and now she's got a financial consulting business, and she was a Trump voter, and she basically sort of started railing against welfare. And the other guy, who was a conservative, he was the guy who voted for Obama, and then said, I was totally available to the system that made me vote for or drove me to vote for Obama because he looked like me rather than is this somebody who's aligned with me intellectually and policy position-wise. But he said, what is this idea, defending welfare, talking about reparations, what is this idea that every black person is broke? He's sort of like, he's like offended by the idea like every black person like lives in the ghetto and is broke. Part of that, and I think both parties buy into that, this idea of, when you're talking about welfare, you're mainly talking about black people. Well, of course, it's disproportionately, but just in terms of raw numbers, many more white people are on welfare than black people. So it's not necessarily race based, but this idea, it's about the poor black man or woman, poor black child. And that's the entire discussion of addressing the aspirations and concerns of the black community. And the woman, the business owner didn't like it, and neither did the guy who voted for Obama before he became a conservative. They're really rejecting this caricature, but the others weren't. And I wonder if this is a bit of a divide, too, or a bit of an opportunity to say we're not on the center right. We're not going to start from this caricature of every black person as in one socioeconomic cohort.
Okay, but it wouldn't be presented like that if black people wouldn't act as if everybody was broke. Everybody don't have the same economic opportunity and same equality. You see what I'm saying? So that's where that comes
It's
from.
like a myth. You've been taught to be like it's a victimhood, like you are a victim.
Right, absolutely. Because we see, it's what we call a stereotype. It's just like, let me just say this here. Kamala Harris. Well, when people get out of jail, if you sold drugs, you need to go back into selling drugs again, but you can just do it the legal way. Well, I was offended by that because, first of all, black people, when they sold drugs, that's what decimated the communities because those black men, those were the same black men she had locked up that couldn't raise their children, that could not raise their families. So I was offended by her stereotyping that our men, the only thing they can be is a drug dealer. So now that weed is legal in some of these states, you can go back to selling it.
And let's say that she was insinuating that, because she was saying basically that, a lot of men have been locked up for selling weed. Well, because it's legal, they should be the first one to get the job in order to sell weed.
Right. So that's all our especially our black men. That's all they good for. Our men are good for is selling drugs, being gangbangers, being thugs. See, and we also have to watch it. When you look at even on television, when you look at the reality shows, when you look at regular shows, how our men are portrayed, especially our black men, and all of that plays into what comes out when people are talking about when it comes to politics. President Trump asked the community, what do you have to lose?
That's right.
Because he got tired of people out there marching in the street about equality. Well, I'm going to give you some equality. I'm going to give you some good jobs. I'm going to make sure you have economic opportunity. I'm going to roll back this regulation where if you want to start a business, you can start a business. If you want to own a home, you can own a home. It is the black man that stays stuck in in the midst of, we don't have it.
We can't
do
this.
it. We can't do that. Okay, take Diamond and Silk, for example. Diamond and Silk, we created that Trump train back in 2015. We got off of what we call the Democrat plantation, which is not a state but a mindset.
A mindset,
okay?
a state of mind. Right.
Okay, all right, that's what we did. Well, anytime it looks like we making some money or we're doing something where we're coming up, we have black people upset about it.
Right.
As if we're supposed to stay in poverty. No, we were born on American soil. We're not an illegal alien. We didn't come up over here on no ship. We was born on this soil, and we are Americans. We deserve the American dream just like everybody else. So that stereotype that, listen, black people, I'm sorry, did to themselves, and it all stems back even from the churches when they tell you can't have nothing.
Right.
I mean, it's just a conditioned mindset.
Right.
And you're stuck in that, which we do need to move forward from that.
So one thing that President Trump has done is showed everybody that you no longer have to be a victim. You can be victorious. You can be prosperous. You can have prosperity. You don't have to live in a state of poverty. Mm-hmm. And people have to understand this Democrat plantation. It is not a city. It's not a place. It's not a thing, but it is a state of mind.
Right.
It's your mindset.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And no, not all black people are in poverty.
No, not
You got
all.
black people that are influential, black people that have. But you also have a large sum of black people that's still, just like with the race baiting. Look at Biden, the commercial that he put out, all played into race. He wasn't a racial healer. He was a race baiting. He was race baiting. Look at what they do. They do little keywords, key things to try to get you stuck in one type of mindset. And that's what you go with. So we do need to break away from that. No, not all black people are broke and poor. Mm-hmm. You have some black people that are coming up, especially more now up under President Donald J. Trump. So maybe we need to stop playing into stereotypes and start playing into the fact that we are Americans. Drop the race.
And drop the skin color.
That's right.
Drop the skin
Americans,
color.
and we deserve the American dream.
Look past the skin color. Stop looking at your skin color and let that identify you. No, look past the skin color and remember that you are an American. Look at yourself as an American and recognize yourself as an American first, and then you can be part of the American dream. But staying stuck in a box, this blue black box with everybody else, is going to keep you stuck right there looking really messed up. People got to understand that.
All right, Diamond and Silk. Donald Trump supporters, host of The Viewer's View on Fox Nation and stars of the documentary Democrats, Diamond and Silk. Thanks as always for joining us. Always provocative, and thanks for singing happy birthday to me again.
Oh, you're so welcome and happy birthday.
Nobody ever does it anymore.
Oh.
Thank you, Diamond.
We love you too. What a special birthday celebration for Dan. And they joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Keith Peterson for Lou Dobbs. President Trump is sending troops to the Mexican border. Alphabet set to report first quarter results. And American Airlines issues a MAX update. Those stories next.
It's so nice now that the kids are asleep.
Cheers.
We got the kids, our house, a stable income.
Checking off all the boxes.
But there's one box we haven't checked off.
What's that?
Life insurance.
We don't need to think about that now. We're young.
That's why now is the best time. Life insurance gets more expensive the older you get.
But I don't have time to do a blood test. It's such a hassle to meet with someone just to get a quote.
Not with Ethos.
Ethos?
It's a modern kind of life insurance. You just answer 4 quick questions at getethos.com and get a free instant quote. No pushy salespeople. And no medical exams required for policies covering under $1 million. You can apply online in just 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Let's do it.
But then what will we do for the rest of the night?
I'm sure we can think of something.
Get your free instant quote and submit your complete application in minutes. Just go to getethos.com. That's ETHOS. Getethos.com. Getethos.com.
The Pentagon, in a shift from previous policy, is about to send troops to the Mexican border. That will include 100 cooks who will hand out meals to avoid troops coming in contact with migrants. In the past, troops supporting National Guardsmen and other authorities had avoided any migrant contacts. American Airlines says it took a $350 million financial hit by grounding its Boeing 737 MAX jetliners during the spring travel season, but the Dallas-based carrier plans to return the Boeing jets to service by August. In upcoming economic reports, the Commerce Department releases personal income and spending reports. And later today, Alphabet, parent company of Google, will release its quarterly financial results after the market closes. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
You probably don't realize this, but between you and your employer, you've contributed as much as 12.4% of your earnings to Social Security, and you've been doing this since your very first paycheck as a kid. Add it up over 40 or 50 years, and it could make your 401k contributions look like chump change. But there's one big problem. Claiming your Social Security benefits is complicated, confusing, and riddled with trapdoors. Hi, this is Tom Fortino. According to PBS and Boston University professor Lawrence Kotlikoff, the Social Security Handbook has 2,278 separate rules governing its benefits, and it has thousands upon thousands of explanations of those rules. Talk about a user's nightmare. Learn how you can help get what's yours. The answers are in our new reports on maximizing your Social Security benefit. It includes little-known strategies that could earn you tens of thousands of dollars more, even as much as $100,000 over your lifetime. This could be a game changer. Call right now to receive this information. 630-519-4742. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-700-1368. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-700-1368. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-700-1368. 1-800-700-1368.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk about the Supreme Court and the citizenship question on the census with Garrett Epps from The Atlantic at 7:07.
And big bucks for Joe Biden. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
A Navy recruit dies at Naval Station Great Lakes. A vigil being held to honor CPD officers. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
All he wanted to do was help others. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what President Trump tweeted about Rabbi Israel Goldstein, who survived the synagogue shooting Saturday in California, the day after extending condolences by phone.
And he spoke about his love of peace and Judaism and Israel, and he was just so comforting.
The gunman shot Goldstein in the hand, blowing a finger off.
He had sunglasses on. I couldn't see his eyes. I couldn't see his soul.
The woman who was murdered jumped in front of the rabbi. Fox's Evan Brown has more live.
Dave, as per Jewish tradition, for a funeral to happen within 24 hours of death, Lori Gilbert Kay will be laid to rest today. She was 60 years old and the lone person to die from the gunman's bullet, and perhaps the reason the synagogue's rabbi survives his wounds. More is being learned about the 19-year-old suspect who was a student at Cal State San Macros and in his writings published online accused Jews worldwide of attempting to eliminate white Christians and blame Jews for the death of Jesus. Dave?
Evan, in Tennessee, investigators are trying to ID all 7 bodies found in 2 homes in Sumner County. A suspect in the deaths is in custody after police shot him following a manhunt. House Democrats want to question Attorney General Barr at the Judiciary Committee on Thursday, but will he show?
The Department of Justice learned that House Democrats want committee attorneys to have a chance to grill Barr, but the DOJ, in a statement, is having none of it. The Attorney General agreed to appear before Congress. Therefore, members of Congress should be the ones doing the questioning.
That's Fox's Doug Luzader. Democrats want answers and questions on possible obstruction of justice. Former Vice President Biden, who started running for president last week, will hold his first Democratic campaign event today in Pittsburgh. President Trump won Pennsylvania in 2016. His campaign manager, Brad Parscale, told CBS Face the Nation he thinks they can flip more blue states red.
I think New Mexico is in play in 2020. I think New Hampshire. I think we continue to grow the map. I think Nevada, even Colorado.
This is Fox News.
Cloudy skies, rain showers, 43 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. There are reports Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox will be called to testify about the investigation, charges, and dismissal of charges in the case of actor Jesse Smollett. An 18-year-old naval recruit died last week after collapsing during physical training at the service's boot camp at Naval Station Great Lakes. Seaman recruit Kelsey Nobles died after being transported to a local hospital after suffering cardiac arrest. It was the second Navy recruit to die this year under similar circumstances at Naval Station Great Lakes. 20-year-old Seaman recruit Kira Evans collapsed and died on February 22nd. Chicago Police Department honoring 585 city officers who've died in the line of duty. A 24-hour vigil began late last night at the Gold Star Family's Memorial and Park near 18th and Waldron Drive. A man is dead following a crash on Lakeshore Drive. The victim, according to police, driving a sedan at a high rate of speed early this morning when he slammed into the barriers near the Oak Street curve. The parents of the 5-year-old Crystal Lake boy found dead last week are scheduled to return to court today. Joanne Cunningham and Andrew Friend Sr. were charged in the murder of A.J. Friend. Chicago sports was Reynaldo Lopez and 3 relievers, combining for 20 strikeouts to tie a Major League Baseball record. White Sox topped the Tigers 4-1 at Guaranteed Rate Field. A 15-inning win for the Cubs over the D-backs, 6-5. Fire fell 1-0 to Montreal. The news, a service of Express Services Incorporated. You work hard. You know what it takes to succeed. Now it's time to put your experience to work and launch your business. For a limited time, Express Employment Professionals will give you $25,000 to open your franchise. Get to know Express. Visit expressfranchising.com today. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This is Dr. Howard, founder and formulator of Balance of Nature. We're changing America, one life at a time.
I've got arthritis, but I take it every day. I've taken it, and my health has improved. So, of course, I love it. My energy level got raised, less pain in my body. So I think it's helped me tremendously. I've talked with a lot of people about the fruits and veggies. They say, "Well, how come you're feeling so good?" And I tell them, call 800-2468-751. See for yourself.
As you know, the price of produce is always on the rise. Have the confidence to know you're getting the best possible price for organically grown whole fruits and vegetables with Balance of Nature. Call now to see how you can lock in your price of fruits and vegetables and get free shipping on every order. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
All money managers might seem the same, but while some give their clients cookie-cutter portfolios, Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to your goals and needs. Some only call when they have something to sell. Fisher calls regularly, so you stay informed. And while some advisors are happy to earn commissions whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come from other money managers. So if you're in or nearing retirement, talk with us and find out why investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments. Clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
As the weather gets warmer and you go outside in the yard, look up. How's that chimney doing? It probably got a good workout this past winter while it was keeping you toasty during those rough months of extreme cold. Or maybe you didn't use it at all because you were worried it hadn't been checked out in a few years and maybe a safety hazard. Well, this would be a good time to call Fireplace and Chimney Authority and get a checkup. You still have a few cool evenings left to enjoy your fireplace before the summer heat arrives. Fireplace and Chimney Authority do masonry and all chimney repairs. Their certified technicians will make sure your chimney is in good condition, so you don't have to worry about any potential hazards. For a limited time, get $100 off any masonry or relining work over $750. Call Fireplace and Chimney Authority for an inspection at 630-279-8500, 630-279-8500, and visit their beautiful showrooms in Lisle and Elmhurst to see a great selection of fireplaces, gas logs, and grills.
With more than 6,000 hotels across the country, including La Quinta, Days Inn, and Super 8, a great hotel by Wyndham is closer than you think. Find one near you and book direct at wyndhamhotels.com.
7:07. Let's check the roads in the AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
The Bishop Ford Freeway is jammed inbound this morning from Sibley, much of the way to the right. It's 45 minutes from 8094 to the merge. I-57, 32 minutes from I-80 to the right. To the right is half an hour from 95th to downtown. Eden's 30 minutes, Lake Cook Junction, outbound 25. Kennedy, 52 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 24 from Montrose, 20 in the Express, outbound 56 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Eisenhower, 52 minutes, 390 to downtown, 35 from Manheim. Stevenson, 57 minutes, 355 to the drive. North on Tri-State, it's heavy. 111th to 75th, Plainfield Road to the Bensonville Bridge. Eastbound Reagan Tollway is gummed up from Myers to the Tri-State. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Steve Williams.
Cloudy skies, morning rain. Some of that rain could be heavy along with a thunderstorm. Cool day today, high 54. Cloudy tonight with a low 41. Remaining cool, times of rain for tomorrow. A high tomorrow at 53. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
43 and rain at O'Hare. Next news 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. A couple weeks ago on Yahoo News Skullduggery podcast, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was asked top three items on the bill of particulars for Trump impeachment. And she said Russian collusion, sort of. She feels he committed tax fraud. And then she couldn't come up with the third. She said there's just a bunch of things. The tax cuts, the census. She mentioned the census, too. These are apparently impeachable offenses, according to her. Doubtful that anybody would take up her cause that the census or tax cuts passed by Congress, signed into law by the president, would be high crimes and misdemeanors.
That's crazy.
But there is a Supreme Court case, New York v. Department of Commerce, that the Supreme Court is going to hear. They've heard this month. They're going to adjudicate. And this is the controversy. Should there be a question as to a person's citizenship on the census? The Constitution and the statutory code seems pretty straightforward on the topic, but that's not the perspective of everyone. For more on this topic in this case, we're pleased to be joined by Garrett Epps. He is the SCOTUS correspondent for The Atlantic, theatlantic.com. He's also a law professor at the University of Baltimore School of Law, and he is the he's the author of the book, The Shad Treatment. Garrett Epps, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, great to be here.
So you wrote in The Atlantic about this case, NYB Department of Commerce, and you suggest it's going to the decision will affect every aspect of national life. How so?
Well, first of all, it determines how many members of Congress each state will receive after the 2020 census. And some states will gain and some states will lose. And so each, having been involved in litigation over these individual seats being spread out among states, I can tell you every single member of Congress is coveted by states and makes a difference because, remember, the number of House seats a state has also determines its strength in the Electoral College. So that's the first step, political. But secondly, numbers as reflected by the census have a lot to do with the distribution of federal grant programs, which are given out on a sort of per capita basis to states or localities. You know, you have X number of people living here, you get Y% of the total appropriation for healthcare or policing or infrastructure or things like that. And of course, eventually the census figures will affect the distribution of seats in the state legislatures as well. So political power follows the census, and so does money. It's a pretty powerful combination.
What would the argument be against having a citizenship question on the census when you have to be a citizen in order to vote?
Well, the census, the United States Census is unique in the world in the sense that it is dictated by the text of the Constitution. The framers of the Constitution wanted to make sure that America didn't end up like Britain, in which Parliament just handed out seats any way it chose to. So you literally had towns with 7 voters in them that had 2 members of Parliament, huge cities like Manchester or Birmingham that would have less than 1. They said the census must be conducted every 10 years, and they said representatives, that is, members of the House, shall be distributed among the states according, quote, to their respective numbers, meaning the people living in the states. Now, they made an exception in the original Constitution. They said don't count so-called Indians not taxed, and only count slaves as 3/5.
Right.
Both of those qualifications have now fallen away. They're no longer, slavery no longer exists. There are no Indians not taxed. So basically, we have the constitutional command, respective numbers. It doesn't say numbers of citizens. And of course, we definitely need data on the number of citizens. But the goal of the census form, the so-called short form questionnaire, is to find out how many people live in a given locality, regardless of citizenship or anything else. And that's the way that the seats in Congress are to be distributed because the Constitution says so. This is not really something we need to argue the ins and outs of. The framers made themselves pretty clear.
And then Title 13 of the U.S. Code, passed by Congress in keeping with its responsibility to direct the census, empowers the Secretary of Commerce. The Secretary shall take a decennial census of the population as the first day of April of such year, in such form and content as he may determine. So wouldn't that give the Secretary of Commerce wide berth on the questioning?
You need to quote a good deal more of Title 13 before you close the door.
Including the use of sampling procedures and special surveys.
Congress has been pretty explicit about the procedures to be used in determining what questions shall be used. And among other things, Congress said that no question shall be asked on the short form unless a determination is made that it's necessary for the purpose of the census. And that is not just verbiage. That's a very important administrative law principle. So the consequence of which, as I read it, and I think a lot of people read it, is the following. It might be that a census question on the short form would be valuable. There's a question about that, which I'll come to in a minute. But the Secretary has to determine that it's necessary. And there are procedures, internal and governed by regulation, of how that is to be done. That is to say, studies are to be conducted, and among other things, the conclusion needs to be reached that it will make the census more accurate. Now, there's 2 problems with this particular question. The first is the determination that it was necessary was never properly made. Secretary of Commerce Wilbur Ross arrived in the office as Secretary of Commerce. He had consulted with Steve Bannon and Chris Kobach, 2 sort of anti-immigrant figures in the orbit of the administration, and he told people around him he wanted the citizenship question. What needs to happen then, according to the census rules, is studies need to be conducted to determine whether that question would make the census more or less accurate. Every study that the census had, with professional demographers and statisticians in the Census Bureau, said it would cause a significantly less accurate count because people would just throw the form away instead of answering the question because they'd be afraid of attracting the attention of the immigration authorities, and that it might be as many as 5% of non-citizens who would answer the form, 5% fewer, with that question on it. So the answer came back, this will not make the census better. The second problem was that ordinarily these questions are put on the form in response to requests from other parts of the government. And quite the opposite happened here. Secretary Ross, this political appointee, very, very concerned with getting a citizenship question on the census, began to call around to other bureaus and say, could you please ask us to put this question? We need someone to ask us to put this question on so we can do it. They called the Department of Homeland Security, who said, well, no, this doesn't have anything to do with us. And they called the Department of Justice, which initially said the same thing. Secretary Ross then appealed to Attorney General Sessions and said, basically, I need this. Will you do me this favor? And a letter was then sent saying, we need this information to enforce the Voting Rights Act. That's never been in 50 years of the Voting Rights Act. The Justice Department has never sought that information before. So there's three problems. One is they didn't follow their own procedures. The second is their own studies show it will make the census less valuable. And the third thing is they lied about how the question got there. So it raises a lot of serious questions about whether, in fact, the motivation for this question is not simple politics, that many people believe that a fall off in non-citizen response will result in a shift of political power and financial power to what we might call redder areas rather than blue cities and areas with high immigrant populations. That's quite serious. The census is supposed to be accurate. It's supposed to be non-political. It's supposed to be something we all agree on. Now, no one is saying don't collect information on citizenship. We already have a highly accurate way of measuring that. It's called the American Community Survey, conducted by the Census Bureau, distinct from the short form. The short form is supposed to be filled out by the head of every household in the country. Right. To the extent it isn't, to the extent that households don't answer, the census becomes less accurate.
Well, and a lot of people see that as, big government and it's none of your business. But is there any repercussions if you don't fill out your census form accurately, if you just throw it away?
Well, the only consequence, in theory, you're supposed to answer it, and you're supposed to answer it fairly, and there's a law that says that. What happens in reality is if you throw away the short form, then the Census Bureau will try to contact you by phone. And if you don't respond to a phone inquiry, they'll send somebody over to your house and not to knock on the door. Hello, I'm from the census. And if no one answers or they can't get through that way, the Bureau eventually does what they call imputation, and that is they make a statistically reliable guess as to how many people live in that household. So there's no real negative consequence, and there are lots of people who don't answer the short form. That's for sure, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's okay to intentionally make it less accurate.
I'm going to go back to the Supreme Court's adjudication of the case, and here again we have Congress with the constitutional authority to act that they haven't used. This was Justice Kavanaugh's point. Why, if Congress didn't want the citizenship question to be asked on the census, on the short form, didn't they prohibit asking it the same way they prohibited asking about religion? And in fact, Ruth Bader Ginsburg had a follow-up sort of on this topic. She asked, look, Congress has the primary control over what the census will be, not the executive. Congress has been alerted to the citizenship question for some time. It's done nothing about it. So the question is, who should decide? Congress is silent. Should the court then step in? And the answer, I don't know. Different people are going to answer that differently. But Congress has the authority. They've chosen not to exercise it. So that means they cede it to the high court?
I think that that actually misstates the factual situation, because Congress has used its authority in a very clear and consequential way in the way that lawyers read statutes. They've prescribed reasons for questions. Here are why questions may or may not be included, and they have approved procedures that the Census Bureau should follow. So one of the points I made in my article about this case is, there may actually be a good case for putting a citizenship question on the census form. There could be. We don't know, because the administration didn't bother to make it. They didn't bother to follow the criteria set up by Congress. They lied. They shortcut the procedure. So the question doesn't become, should Congress decide about the question or should the court decide about the question? Congress decided how these questions were to be determined. The administration, apparently for political reasons, declined to follow Congress's instructions. It is very common for courts to step in these administrative law things and say, executive branch, Congress gave you a set of instructions, you didn't follow them, go back and do it again. So I think to some extent that's a kind of a red herring. The issue is, in this case, as it is in many cases, what did Congress's instructions mean? Not did Congress give instructions. Congress has never instructed the Bureau about all the questions on the short form. It's always been the business of the professionals at the Census Bureau, for as long as there's been a Census Bureau, to come up with the questions. And so, the kind of binary, Congress didn't say we can't, so we can, that doesn't really hold up as far as I can tell.
All right, he is Garrett Epps. He's a SCOTUS correspondent for The Atlantic, and he's a law professor at the University of Baltimore School of Law. His book, The Shad Treatment. And Garrett Epps, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
I enjoyed it.
Take care.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Are your windows needy?
Call Crumweedy.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. If you need windows, call the exterior experts, Crumweedy. Mark Olson and Greg Olson of Crumweedy run a third-generation family business that's been doing Chicagoland exteriors since 1953. For them, it's all about trust. They truly share your values. Why windows from Crumweedy? Crumweedy windows are not offered anywhere else in Chicagoland. They're exclusive. That's why they can offer a lifetime material and labor installation guarantee. Lifetime. That's a great investment for your home. Windows from Crumweedy are Energy Star rated, unlike most other windows. Also, the vinyl windows are 100% virgin vinyl. You're getting quality. Windows with a lifetime material and labor installation. If your windows are needy,
call Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. That's 630-595-8020. Just remember this, windowsareneedy.com. Windowsareneedy.com.
With Summerfest approaching, now's the time to fill your son's schedule with athletics, STEM, and academic enrichment camps at Northridge Prep summer programs for boys in grades 4 through 8 for the week of June 17th through the 21st. Drop your son off at 9 and pick him up at 3 for a full day of fun. In the morning, a choice between basketball skill builder and wrestling, technique and strength. In the afternoon, Battles of the Civil War or Robotics, Introduction to Mechanical Design. That's a full week of sports and experiential learning to keep your son developing his interests and skills this summer. Here's what Chicago Bulls GM Gar Forman had to say about Northridge's basketball skill builder camp. Quote, when it comes to teaching offensive skill development in youth basketball, Coach Ray provides as complete and detailed an approach as I've seen. End quote. That's Will Ray, who's a former D1 basketball coach, and he's the AD at Northridge Prep, so you're in good hands there. Seats are limited for all camps, and some, like the Dangerous Camp for Boys, are already 100% filled up. Learn more and register online at northridgeprep.org/summer. That's northridgeprep.org/summer.
Can you see it? Your website at the top of search engines, getting first crack at millions of potential customers. Want to make it happen? You can do it with the digital marketing experts at Salem Surround. Imagine your increase in sales when you're at the top. Get started with Salem Surround and a free analysis of your digital marketing effectiveness and some great ideas that could dramatically grow your profits. The team at Salem Surround has the expertise to put you at the top with all your digital marketing under one roof. Social marketing, geofencing, web search enhancement, event targeting, and more. You'll get monthly reports and results and instantly move your dollars to the most effective area of your digital marketing suite. There really are no limitations on where you can reach customers with Salem Surround. Total market penetration for increased ROI. Learn more. Log on to surroundchicago.com. surroundchicago.com. Connecting you with new customers.
I used to wake up with horrible leg cramps and foot cramps, but I don't anymore, and I think it's due to Balance of Nature. It's 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies, all in a single capsule with no preservatives, no dyes. Because admit it, none of us are eating enough fruits and veggies on our own, and that's where Balance of Nature comes in. It's so great, it's easy, and it's healthy. And yes, the testimonials you hear on this station are real. I've spoken with Dr. Douglas Howard, met him a few times. He's very passionate about his product. He cares about his customers, and he wants people to live happier and healthier lives, and you can with Balance of Nature. So get on board and try Balance of Nature, and now's the perfect time to start because you can lock in your price for fruits and vegetables today and get free shipping on every order. That's right. If you lock in now, you won't pay more when the cost of produce starts to rise later this year. I give it to Peyton and Eli. They're excited. So call today, 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use promo code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com, promo code Chicago.
Hey guys, Ken here from Income Store. Did you know of the top 10 reasons an employee stays at a company for more than 2 years? The 7th reason is the pay or the salary. The first 6 reasons have nothing to do with money. Things like they feel part of a team, they know they belong, their voice is heard, they're respected. Also, employees go through 5 phases within a couple days to 6 months of any new position. Excitement, education, reality, doubt, then clarity. Did you know it's a manager's job to walk them to clarity as fast as possible? If you need to know these fundamental principles, fundamental? Did I just say that? I'm going to leave that in. If you need to know these fundamental principles, I can't say this. This is awesome. This is like a blooper roll. Hey, you know what? If you need tips and techniques like this to grow your business today, you got to check out door number 1 of Income Store. If you just need somebody to literally hold your hand and get you to the finish line, check out door number 2 of IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Okay, here's the deal. You missed your chance to lock in a mortgage with a low rate, right? Wrong. Whether you're looking to lower your monthly payment or thinking of getting cash out of your home, mortgage rates are still low and you still have time to get the loan you want before rates go back up. But the clock's ticking. And a cash call mortgage, there's no better time to take advantage than right now. Call us at 844-567-CASH. Speak with one of our refinance specialists today, and you may be able to lock in a low rate before it's gone. We can close your loan for a flat $9.95 origination fee and pay your closing costs. We'll even get the process started without the upfront deposit other lenders still charge. That's 844-567-CASH. Refinance with Cash Call Mortgage today. Impact Mortgage Corp. DBA Cash Call Mortgage. And MLS ID 128231. Equal housing lender. Not licensed in all states, including New York. Offer not available in Washington. Call 855-657-9910 for licensing terms and restrictions. And details on closing costs paid for loans above $250,000. Don't let these low rates pass you by. Dial 844-567-CASH. That's 844-567-CASH. Refinance with Cash Call Mortgage today.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer on this, Dan Proff's birthday. Later on, we'll find out how old he really is.
Is Joe Biden going to get borked? We'll ask John Fahn from Ash Review at 7:37.
But first, let's head straight into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Gray and miserable start to your Monday. 43 and rain showers. Reports Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox will be called to testify about the investigation, charges, and dismissal of charges in the case of actor Jesse Smollett. An 18-year-old naval recruit died last week, collapsing during physical training at the service's boot camp at Naval Station Great Lakes. All 3 surviving victims of Saturday's synagogue shooting are out of the hospital. 8-year-old Noya Dayan was one of those hurt.
It was just, I never thought that would happen.
An 8-year-old girl, 2 men, including a rabbi, were hurt, 1 woman killed, when 19-year-old John Ernest allegedly opened fire as about 100 people worshipped. The board of directors of the NRA meets today as the organization wrestles with a leadership flap. NRA President Oliver North said over the weekend he will not serve a second term. That came after a bitter in-house fight with longtime NRA Chief Executive Wayne LaPierre. 4 people are dead after a crane fell off the top of a building under construction in Seattle. Tim Church is with the Washington Department of Labor.
No one should ever have to go to work and not come home from their job. So we're looking closely at this. It will take months, but our goal is to figure out what happened so things like this don't happen again.
Seattle Times reporting 2 of the dead are crane operators. Another of the dead, a Seattle Pacific University student. A football player just drafted by the New York Giants is recovering from a shooting in Topeka, Kansas that left a Washburn University player dead. Corey Ballantyne had just spoken with Giants coach Pat Shermer hours before the shooting.
Glad to add you to our team.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to be a part of the franchise. I've been waiting on this opportunity for a lifetime, really.
Officials say Ballantyne was involved in the shooting Saturday, was hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. The university confirms that junior football player Dwayne Simmons was killed in that shooting. A man is dead following a crash on Lakeshore Drive on Chicago's near north side as a sedan went through barriers at a high rate of speed on the Oak Street curve. Parents of 5-year-old Crystal Lake boy Andrew Friend Jr., found dead last week, are scheduled to return to court later today. Chicago sports. White Sox top the Tigers 4-1 at Guaranteed Rate Field. Cubs 6-5 winners over the Diamondbacks in 15 innings. The news service of Wyndham Hotels and Resorts, with more than 6,000 hotels across the country, including La Quinta, Days Inn, and Super 8. A great hotel by Wyndham is closer than you think. Find one near you and book direct at wyndhamhotels.com. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Do you own or run a thriving business in the Chicagoland area? Have you overcome obstacles to make your business what it is today? If that's your business, then AM 560 wants to tell your story on the AM 560 Business Tour, presented by Signature Bank. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson will be broadcasting live from businesses all around Chicagoland, telling success stories of thriving, successful businesses. Hey, if that's you, tell us about it. Visit 560theanswer.com/business and submit your information. That's 560theanswer.com/business.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chuck Spaveri, CEO of Spaveri's Custom Counters, a Chicagoland manufacturer of residential and commercial countertops. If there's a local commercial bank who knows how to get a deal done, it's Signature Bank. When my brother and I needed it, Signature Bank came through with a creative financing solution. That's because Signature Bank has experience working with companies like ours, a second-generation, family-owned and operated manufacturer. Our business matters to Signature Bank, and that comes through in every visit and every phone call with their team, right up to the bank's co-founders, Kevin, Mick, and Brian. Spaveri's is proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
7:36 and a check on your morning roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Northbound tri-state traffic is heavy this morning all the way from 115th and Ridgeland up to the Bensonville Bridge. Spot Adams Tollway, it's heavy now Beverly to 53. Regan Tollway 31 to Yackley and 83 to the tri-state. The northbound Veterans Memorial 75th moves to the way to 290. Delays on the inbound Eden starting at 2, 30 minutes like Cook to Montrose. The Kennedy, 52 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Little quicker than the Express. Eisenhower, 58 minutes, 390 to downtown, 38 from Manhunt. Stevenson, 59 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 34 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 32 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 50, 80-94. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. And your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Morning rain, some of that could be very heavy, and a thunderstorm in spots by the afternoon. Cloudy, cool, 54 today. 43 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. President Obama reportedly pressed Joe, Sleepy Joe, Scrappy Joe, Creepy Joe, Creep Show Joe, which is what we call him here. I think that was Randy and Sandwich who gave us that one.
Yeah, it was.
I like that. He is reminiscent of the Crypt Keeper after he got those plugs, even more so. Joe was urged by President Obama not to run in 2016, and he abided President's wishes, according to New York Times. Right up on that, right? My Doug Mills in the New York Times writing about that. Yeah, I don't think so. And it's even more difficult for Joe than it would have been in 16 against Hill Dog. You know why? Because his record is even more out of step 4 years removed with the Democrat Socialist Party, as it would have been in 2016 with Hill Dog and Bolshevik Bernie. He's going to get borked and hilled, Joe Biden. Jonah Goldberg tweeting over the weekend, National Review. He reminds, Borking of Bork was an outrage and contributed to the effed up politics of today. Bork was immensely qualified. You know who thought that? Joe Biden. Not long before Robert Bork was nominated, Biden told the Philly Inquirer, quote, "Say the administration sends up Bork, I'd have to vote for him, and if the liberal interest groups tear me apart, that's the medicine I'll have to take." Ooh. And then he's got this whole Anita Hill flap and his handling of the Clarence Thomas confirmation hearing, which Anita Hill and many of her man-hating shrew brethren not keen on, and just as upset with Biden 25 years forward as they were back then.
Yeah, and he was on The View on Friday. It was a big exclusive, and they talked to him about that, and he said he didn't think that he treated her badly during the hearing, and he didn't even like Clarence Thomas.
You didn't vote for Clarence Thomas, right?
Not only didn't I vote for Clarence Thomas, I believed her from the beginning.
Yeah.
I was against Clarence Thomas. I did everything in my power to defeat Clarence Thomas, and he's won by the smallest margin anyone ever won going on the Supreme Court.
But she was not 100% happy with your discussion with her. So here's your opportunity right now to just say you apologize, you're sorry. I think we can clean this up right now.
Well, by the way, I did. I understand. Look, I'm not going to judge whether or not it was appropriate, whether she thought it was sufficient, but I said privately what I've said publicly. I am sorry she was treated the way she was treated. I wish we could have figured out a better way to get this thing done. I did everything in my power to do what I thought was within the rules to be able to stop things, but look, take a look at what's happened. What I did when we got through that god-awful experience she'd been through, she's one of the reasons why we have the Me Too movement. She's one of the reasons why I was able to finish writing the Violence Against Women Act. She's one of the reasons why I committed, and that was over. There'd never be a judiciary committee I was involved with that didn't have women on it. So I went out and got a commitment that the women I campaigned for would come on the committee. So she's responsible for significant changes, and she deserves credit for it. And one of the things you saw is, how about the last hearing?
Okay, play Joe-ism.
Yes.
So here's the problem. Molly Hemingway has it in the Federalist. Arlen Specter's book, former senator from Pennsylvania, who was on the Senate Judiciary Committee, writes, in 1998, Biden admitted to Specter that, quote, "It was clear to me from the way she was answering the questions Hill was lying." That's from Arlen Specter's 2000 memoir, Passion for Truth. So what Joe is saying about his handling of Anita Hill and Clarence Thomas and the bases for his judgment calls against Thomas and his characterization of being totally in Anita Hill's camp, that's not what he communicated to his colleague, at least one colleague on the Senate Judiciary Committee. Well, why would Arlen Specter have any reason to lie in 1998 about that? I think by then he had just, in 2000 when he wrote his memoir about Joe Biden in 1988, I think by then Specter had flipped parties. So here it is, Joe is trying to bail water to re-engineer and reintroduce himself as some sort of
he's a women's champion.
Well, more than that. Some sort of thoughtful leftist, progressive.
Yeah, trying. And he's also had to answer questions about the 7 women who've come forward who accused them of not sexual assault or sexual abuse, just inappropriate touching. When he smells their hair and gives them Eskimo kisses.
Sorry you were offended is not an apology. It's, I'm sorry I invaded your space. Now, you have come out and said, I get it, especially because we're in a different time now. We're in the Me Too movement. But are you sorry for what you did? Are you prepared to apologize to those women?
Look, here's the deal. I have to be, and everybody has to be much more aware of the private space of men and women.
Yeah.
It's not just women, but primarily women.
Sure.
And I am much more cognizant of that. But I am so, like, for example, I actually thought in my head when I walked out here, do I...
You ladies?
I know.
We're friends.
It's tricky.
Forehead to forehead?
But I have to be
Is that
aware
appropriate?
of it. So I have to be more cognizant, and we all have to be more. A woman or a man has a
pat on the tuchus.
Okay, so
is that appropriate?
Well, the bottom line is Nancy Pelosi wanted him to apologize. Okay.
I'm really sorry if what I did in talking to them, trying to console, that in fact they took it a different way, and it's my responsibility to make sure that I bend over backwards to try to understand
Stop bending
how not
over.
to do that.
Nancy Pelosi wants you to say,
it was so insufferable, Dan. This is why I watched it, so you wouldn't have to. But they kept going on it. It's like, enough already. Okay, he got it.
You give the generics so you don't have to give the specifics. You make a generic statement, blanket statement, so you don't have to get into the specifics. Because, I'm confused. I'm trying to keep up with the times. The whole George Costanza, is that wrong? Was that wrong? Because I got to plead ignorance on this one. When, according to a 22-year-old Capitol Hill intern, I was walking by her and I put my forehead up to her forehead, grabbing her by the back of the head and said, "You're a beautiful woman." Now, is that wrong? I don't know how I'm supposed to greet 22-year-old women I don't know. Or men, because it's women and men, too. No Eskimo kissing men. I hear you. It is a complete pant load.
Right, but he is, we can't just dismiss him. He raised $6.3 million in the first 24 hours.
Yeah, it's just like everybody raving about all the money Jeb Bush raised. It means nothing. And here's another problem. Biden, a lot of people predicted the day he announced this would be the high watermark for his campaign.
Yeah.
I'm sort of in that camp.
Well, today's a big day, is big rally in Pittsburgh.
Jeb, I think it is much more likely than not he becomes the Jeb Bush of this campaign cycle. He may perform less well than Jeb Bush. So you got all the feminist stuff hearkening back to Bork and Thomas.
Yeah.
You got his creepiness, Creep Show Joe. How about this? For a guy who used Charlottesville in his campaign announcement, former Vice President Joe Biden was part of a 94th Congress that voted to restore Confederate General Robert E. Lee's citizenship more than 100 years after his death. Uh-oh.
Oh, boy.
That's
now
not,
you're gone done it.
That's not going to sit well with the erase history and restart it from January of 2008 with the inauguration of Barack Obama, is it? That's not going to sit well. There is no end to the problems Biden has in this Democrat Socialist Party of 2019. His only hope, and it wasn't anywhere near enough for Jeb, similar circumstance, is the plethora of candidates allows him to get a very small plurality and win Iowa and then rack up some states after New Hampshire. But I'm not seeing it. I don't think frankly, here's the other thing about Joe. Creep Show Joe. Yeah. Being a favorite son in Delaware and being able to keep a Senate seat warm for 30 years makes you look like you have more political skill than you do. His 2 presidential campaigns speak to his political skill, his attractiveness as a candidate, more so than his time in the Senate or being Barack Obama's ribbon cutter at shopping center openings. Okay? So this guy doesn't have the chops to survive at this level either, I don't believe. We'll see. Sean in Elmwood Park, here on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know, Prof, a couple things. They're not raising money. No one is looking at Joe Biden and saying, hey, I like the cut of your jib. That's extortion money from people who need political power.
Yeah.
And that's why they carve it up this early. That's number one. Number two, I'm looking at this array of old freaks, and today being your birthday.
Oh.
And you're aging like a hooker that lives next to a naval base. How old are you today?
He won't say.
Gracefully, you mean? I'm younger than you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you've got that.
And I don't have a hole in my
dye
haircut
job.
like you do either.
Oh yeah, listen, I have male
Friar
pattern
Tuck.
baldness.
Yeah.
I have male pattern. You are aging like a queer on a motorcycle from the front
You
to
can't
back.
use that word.
Okay? So why? It's LGBTQ. I can use it anyway.
You're using it very aggressively, and it's making Amy uncomfortable.
Yes, Sean.
So at your age, with those wide hips and those poorly tailored suits, you can go all the way to the White House, as Trump proved. I want you to run as a Democrat and really throw a wrench in things.
Yeah, okay.
For the Yeah, why not do that Operation Chaos everyone talked about that got Obama elected? You do it this time so we can guarantee a Pete Buttigieg who's a mini version of you in there. I like it.
Thanks so much, Sean. I'll take that as a happy birthday.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Balance of Nature's fruit and veggie capsules contain 100% fine-ripened fruits and vegetables, tested pure with no pesticides, fillers, or additives of any kind, and are the most effective whole food supplements on the market today. You might ask, how can over 10 servings of 31 different fruits and vegetables fit into 6 vegetarian capsules? Fruits and vegetables are on an average 85% water. Balance of Nature uses cold vacuum technology to remove the water, leaving only the whole food. We don't use any heat, air, or light drying methods that damage nutrients. Our cold vacuum technology maintains 99% of the fresh fruits and vegetables' original nutritional value. Along with diet and exercise, Mother Nature provides fruits and vegetables to help us maintain good health.
To order, go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751 and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hey, before you go out and buy an expensive mattress, I urge you to consider the MyPillow mattress topper. It really is a game changer and it's a lot less expensive and will revitalize your mattress. We have a few at our house, and we love them. It's that good, and you'll get the best sleep of your life. And order now and get 30% off your MyPillow mattress topper plus 2 free standard MyPillows. The exclusive 3-layer design includes the MyPillow foam for support, transitional foam to help relieve pressure points, and an ultra-soft patented temperature-regulating cover that's washable and dryable. Plus, you have Mike Lindell's 60-day money-back guarantee. You'll get the total body support you need, sleep better, and save a lot of money. 30% off of your MyPillow mattress topper plus free 2 standard MyPillows. Go to MyPillow.com. Promo code Amy. MyPillow.com. Promo code Amy.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. The storm season is here. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for sudden damage and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
As a parent, you want what's best for your children. That means sending them to a school where they'll get the superior education they deserve, and that also shares your values. That can be tricky these days, as public schools have changed and private schools can be expensive. Your household budget has already been cut to the bone, and it's hard to imagine where you'll find that extra money. Well, there's help to lessen that financial burden and provide your child with the very best education at half the cost. At AM 560 The Answer, we work with private schools throughout the Chicagoland area to provide tuition for families at half the normal cost. Just log on to halfpriceschools.com and you'll find some of Chicagoland's finest private schools, from preschool all the way through high school, at half the cost. And chances are there's a school right in your neighborhood. Invest in your child's education and future at halfpriceschools.com. A limited number of half-price vouchers are available. Go to halfpriceschools.com now.
Business owners, you know that the easiest way to sell your product is to get customers into your store, in front of the product. Sometimes easier said than done, right?
Yes.
So you bring the store to the customer, digitally, through your website. But are you taking full advantage of all the internet can do to achieve the best results?
I don't know.
Salem Surround can help get results and take your business well beyond its 4 walls. We take the mysteries of digital marketing off your shoulders and deliver customers so you can run your business. Your message will be on computers, tablets, and mobile phones everywhere. Get in touch with Salem Surround for a free analysis of your digital marketing effectiveness and some great ideas that could dramatically increase your sales. There really are no limitations on where you can reach customers. Get it done with Salem Surround. Total market penetration for increased return on investment. Learn more. Log on to surroundchicago.com. Surroundchicago.com. Connecting you with new customers.
Hey, look at this.
Why are you on your phone? We have dinner reservations.
I'm getting a quote for life insurance from Ethos. Just look.
Wow. I thought it would be more expensive.
A friend told me about Ethos. It's a new, straightforward kind of term life insurance that offers policies for any budget. Let's do an estimate for you.
Do we have time?
You just answer 4 simple questions to get an instant quote.
These are easy questions.
And there's the instant quote.
Seriously? That was really fast.
I know, right? And the online application only takes about 10 minutes. No pushy agents. And in most cases, no medical exams. It's perfect for us.
Can we apply right now?
Why not? And after dinner, maybe we can celebrate.
You know what? Ethos is perfect for us.
Ethos is ethical term life insurance. Straightforward and super fast. Don't put it off. Go to ethoslife.com for a free instant quote now. ethoslife.com. That's ethoslife.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, you remember that song when you were on the London punk scene back in the 70s, Amy, right?
Right, and you were in Sweden doing
No.
work and rave parties, or is this
more of a? I didn't arrive on the scene till the early '80s, Manchester. I was more of a Joy Division guy and Ian Curtis guy, where you were Johnny Rotten, Sid Vicious.
I love Johnny Rotten.
Hanging with that crew of the Sex Pistols. Yeah, Johnny Rotten, no longer across the pond. He lives with his wife, who's a publishing heiress, in Venice Beach in California.
That's a fun place. Have you been there? Stop by or swing by or go on the rollerblade there?
Well, Johnny is suggesting Venice Beach has become a bit rotten. Don't visit. There's needles on the beach and poo all over the sand.
No, yeah, people drop a deuce.
That was also one of the Sex Pistols songs.
What, dropping a deuce or what?
No, needles on the beach and poo all over the sand. Oh.
What, I mean, they have outhouses there, too, in Venice Beach that people can use. They're public washrooms.
They don't have indoor plumbing?
No, they don't. I'm saying that
indoor plumbing was also a Sex
so you don't have
song.
you don't have to drop a deuce on the sand.
He's
Are they plastic bags for people?
He's struggling to cope with the surge of vagrants in the area. Oh boy.
Here, they're turning into a San Francisco.
And he's turning into a crotchety old conservative, Mr. Punk Rock. They moved in Moss. They're all young. They're all like 24. Johnny Rotten's 63 these days.
Oh,
They're aggressive, and because there's an awful lot of them together, they're gangy.
It's a verb now, huh? They're gangy.
They're gangy. He is not happy. They came and they vandalized his multi-million-dollar home, which you're really not happy about. They came over the gate. They put their tent inside right in front of the front door. It's like the audacity. And by the way, his wife...
See, he built a wall and they still climbed over it.
Walls work. But one of the things, just one point on his wife, I forgot to mention, she is suffering from Alzheimer's disease.
Oh.
And so he's taking care of her. He says, look, I'm not part of any establishment elite. I'm a bloke that's worked hard for his money, and I expect to be able to use my own front door. Love it. Huh? Johnny Rotten, joining the club. Adam in North Center. Hey, Adam, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Speak.
Good morning.
Morning.
And long-time listener, first-time caller.
All right.
Hate you, hate your show.
Thank you very much.
I just wanted to wish you a happy 47th birthday.
How do you know it's 47? Adam.
The number's out.
Thanks for the call.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer. Coming up on Chicago.
We'll take a serious turn and talk about that San Diego Synagogue shooting over the weekend at 8:08.
But first, let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
A vigil honoring CPD officers. A man killed in a Lakeshore Drive crash. And the Bears take 5 in the draft. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Will this lead to another subpoena from Democrats? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Attorney General Barr is supposed to testify at the House on Thursday, but he doesn't like the way Democrats want to question him. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
Barr is warning if he's questioned by committee lawyers, in addition to rounds of questioning by lawmakers as well as a proposed closed-door session, he won't show up to Thursday's hearing on the Mueller report. If Barr doesn't comply, Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler said the committee will have to subpoena him. President Trump, meanwhile, on the Fox Business Network, says Barr should answer another set of questions.
How did this start? How could a thing like this happen to our country? It was a big con job.
Democrats continue to seek answers about possible obstruction of justice charges against President Trump. Dave?
John in Poway, California. A vigil for Lori Gilbert Kay, the woman murdered in Saturday's synagogue shooting, shielding her rabbi from the bullets. Her funeral will be today.
Lori took the bullet for all of us. She died to protect all of us.
Rabbi Israel Goldstein was shot in the hand. A finger was blown off. The suspected gunman's in custody. 19-year-old John Ernest, investigators believe he posted an anti-Jewish manifesto online before the shooting.
A memorial here grew with flowers and prayers. Also, more details emerging. An off-duty Border Patrol agent, Jonathan Morales, joined Stewart in chasing Ernest into the parking lot, firing 5 shots, not from his service revolver, but from a gun that was hidden inside the synagogue specifically for law law enforcement members.
Fox's William Lashness outside the synagogue in Sri Lanka. The president's imposing an emergency law 8 days after the Easter suicide bombings that killed more than 250 people. The law bans face coverings in public, affecting Muslim women who can't wear full face veils. Americans were out buying more in March. Consumer spending surged nearly 1%. That's the biggest increase in nearly 10 years. This is Fox News.
Gray skies, 43 degrees. It's 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. There are reports Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx will be called to testify about the investigation, charges, and dismissal of charges in the case of actor Jussie Smollett. Sun-Times says Foxx and her deputy have been subpoenaed. An 18-year-old Navy recruit died last week after collapsing during physical training at the service's boot camp at Naval Station Great Lakes. Seaman recruit Kelsey Nobles died at a local hospital where she was transported after suffering cardiac arrest while conducting her final physical assessment. Chicago Police Department honoring the 585 city officers who've died in the line of duty. A 24-hour vigil began late last night at the Gold Star family's memorial in Park. A man is dead following a crash on Lakeshore Drive early this morning. The victim driving a sedan at a high rate of speed when police say he slammed into the barriers near the Oak Street curve. Boeing CEO Dennis Muhlenberg will face shareholders today here in Chicago for the first time since two deadly crashes forced the grounding of the aviation giant's 737 MAX jetliners. And authorities say the conditions of 5 have improved 2 days after they were sickened by ammonia leaking from tanks. Lake County Sheriff's Office says the 5 have been upgraded to serious condition from critical, including a firefighter. White Sox beat the Tigers 4-1. Cubs 6-5 winners over the Diamondbacks in 15 innings. And the Wolves move on in the AHL playoffs after a 4-2 Sunday win over the Grand Rapids Griffins in Rosemont. 8:03 time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, here's Carol Zimmer.
From the Fox Business Network, it's back to the negotiating table for officials still trying to hammer out a trade deal between the U.S. and China. The next round of talks will get underway in Beijing this week, and significant issues still need to be worked out. More trouble for Boeing. It wasn't until the crash of a Lion Airjet in October that Boeing told Southwest and other carriers that a standard safety feature had been deactivated. There have been 2 recent crashes of Boeing's 737 MAX linked to a sensor malfunction. More women are taking blue-collar jobs, particularly in transportation and material moving, a field that includes truck drivers, delivery people, and warehouse workers. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Carol Zimmer.
8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity explains Trump's values.
Has there ever been a more conservative governing president in our lifetime? Oh, not really. You have Reagan and now Trump. In terms of justices, promise made, promise kept. Tax cuts, the highest in history. Regulation, deregulation. You never had anything like this.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Attention maintenance coordinators. Fans are a vital part of your business's building or factory. You've got to keep the air moving. But when they break down or need service, who can you call? Vans Industrial repair all types of fans, from small wall fans to large air movers.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. Fan repair is one of many services that Vans offers. If you have a fan with a damaged shaft, bearing, impeller, or housing, we can help. And if you need a new fan, we handle all major brands and can provide engineering assistance to properly size your new fan. Our crews can respond to your emergencies or routine maintenance and will have your fan back up and running fast. And when we're done repairing your fan, we can also dynamically balance it so it runs smooth for years to come.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND to get your fan repaired today. That's 833-VANS-IND or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
All money managers might seem the same, but while some give their clients cookie-cutter portfolios, Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to your goals and needs. Some only call when they have something to sell. Fisher calls regularly, so you stay informed. And while some advisors are happy to earn commissions whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come from other money managers. So if you're in or nearing retirement, talk with us and find out why investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments. Clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
8:07. Let's get an update on that ride to work in the AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Traffic is brutal on the inbound Kennedy. The long jam from Canfield to the Burns Circle. It is an hour and a half from O'Hare to downtown, 50 minutes from Montrose, 42 in the Express. Outbound an hour downtown to O'Hare. Eden's 32 minutes Lake Cook Junction, outbound 35. Eisenhower, an hour 390 to downtown, 40 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 58 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 16 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 45 minutes. Ryan is 40 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, an hour, 80-94 to the merge. Southbound tri-state delays are 120 to Lake Cook. And from the Adams Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge, northbound 115th to the Adams Tollway. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, and our meteorologist is Steve Williams.
Considerable cloudiness. It'll be cool. Some morning rain, which could be heavy. Thunderstorm today, high 54. Cloudy tonight with a low 51. It'll stay cool tomorrow. Times of rain, a high near 53. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
43 right now. Some spots have already seen an inch of rain or more this morning as rainfall continues through the midday. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So it's happened again, a synagogue shooting in San Diego this time. Of course, recalling 6 months to the day, the Tree of Life synagogue shooting in Pittsburgh, where 11 people were murdered. In this case, one murdered and 3 others injured. I know this immediately becomes politicized, but it's why our politics is so tedious and unimportant. You have politicians tweeting about gun control legislation and roundtables being hastily assembled to have everyone on CNN agree that Trump's expression of sympathy shouldn't be taken at face value. It's just nonsense. We should talk about the heroes and those who were injured and killed. The heroes start with Lori Kay, who's a 60-year-old congregant of this synagogue in Poway, which is just north of San Diego, who jumped in front of the shooter, jumped in front of a rabbi, between the shooter and her rabbi, and essentially sacrificed her life to save her rabbi.
And it's just amazing. And the rabbi was shot. His left index finger was blown off, but he acted heroically too, because then he kept preaching. There was a Border Patrol agent who recently converted to Judaism that drove 3.5 hours every Saturday to pray. And Oscar Stewart, I want you to meet him. He is a true hero, and this is what he did. Instead of comparing to what he did to the Parkland shooting security guard officer Peterson, who sat there and did nothing, this guy took action.
I heard gunshots. I saw everybody running, so I ran to the lobby where the guy was with the gun. And I saw him discharge 2 more rounds. As he was discharging the rounds, I ran up to him and I yelled at him, and he dropped his weapon and he ran out, and I chased him out of the sanctuary. I was in the military, and I think that's what I ran to fire. That's what I did. I didn't plan it. I think about it. It's just what I did. I chased him out in the street into his car. I punched his car.
Yeah, he punched his car, and the Border Patrol agent actually fired shots at the car to try and disable it.
Yeah, winged it.
Yeah.
And then a canine officer responding to the shooting confronted the shooter on the interstate and ultimately took him into custody, where he is today. With respect to the shooter, this 19-year-old,
who, by the way, his gun jammed, thank God. And also, he wanted to be like, the New Zealand guy. He put the camera on top of his helmet and wanted to Facebook it live. Well, that didn't work out either, thank God.
He, according to social media that's attributed to him, he hated everybody. There's evil in his heart. Ignorance. Hated Trump. Hated conservatives, hated Jews, hated everybody. That should be where it begins and ends, the conversation, but of course it won't be. By the way, just one other heart-wrenching piece of this story, in addition to the woman who was killed and those injured. Husband of the woman killed, Lori Kay, is a doctor. He's asked to help someone on scene who's injured. He gets to Lori Kay, didn't know it was his wife, realizes it's his wife, he faints. And apparently, from what other members of that synagogue were saying, both Lori Kay and her husband, Dr. Howard Kay, were revered figures in that community.
And very good friends with the rabbi, too.
And it's just terrible all the way around.
After the shooter left, this terrorist left, I turn around to assess the situation. And I walk into the lobby and I see Lori laying on the floor unconscious. And her dear husband, Dr. Howard Kay, who's like a brother to me, is trying to resuscitate her, and he faints, and he's laying there on the floor next to his wife. And then the daughter Hannah comes out screaming, "Daddy and Mommy, what's going?" This is the most heart-wrenching sight I could have seen. I was frozen in time. I grabbed a prayer shawl, wrapped my arm, my fingers with it. That was just hanging, dangling, and bleeding all over the place. My congregation was gathered outside here, and I said, I got to do something. I got up on a chair right there, and I looked at our congregation, and I said, Am Yisrael Chai. We are a Jewish nation that will stand tall.
Oh, God bless him. It's heart-wrenching. That rabbi was so good and so strong and should be admired. He's
Absolutely.
my admiration for the rest of my life. He's a wonderful man.
He also relayed a call he got from President Trump.
Oh, yeah.
In my house, I received a personal phone call from our President Donald Trump. I was amazed to answer the phone and say the Secretary of the White House is calling. And he spent close to 10, 15 minutes with me on the phone. It's the first time I've ever spoken to a President of the United States of America. He shared with me condolences on behalf of the United States of America. And we spoke about the moment of silence. And he spoke about his love of peace and Judaism and Israel. And he was just so comforting that I'm really grateful to our president for taking the time and making that effort to share with us his comfort and consolation.
And it was great because he would not let reporters ask him any questions, Dan, until he made that comment. And then when he was done with that, now you can ask me questions.
It was also not unlike what you heard from the rabbi at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh after after President Trump and Melania flew to Pittsburgh to visit with him and take a tour of the synagogue and have a conversation about the massacre that occurred there. And yet, and I mean, I guess this is an important moment and an important juxtaposition. You heard from the rabbi, faith leader. On Saturday night, same day the shooting occurred at that synagogue, you had the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where all the assembled luminaries of the D.C. press corps got together to fet themselves before they went back to their jobs to cover this shooting.
Yeah, because it was breaking news, so a lot of them were wearing their tuxedos on set and all that.
To cover it and give short shrift to the heroes of this story, as we've just been discussing, and immediately politicize it. Prime example, Don Lemon at CNN. You heard what the rabbi said about his conversation with President Trump. Listen to Don Lemon leading a panel discussion of 8-10 people on
Everybody's
CNN.
dressed up in their finest.
So this is tough because you have a death here and you have people who are injured.
Yeah.
You could have had more deaths. We want to give, on one hand, you want to give the president his due. But when you consider the language that we have been discussing over the last couple of days, especially with Joe Biden getting into the race, what the president has said, making excuses, revisionist history about what happened in Charlottesville and on, one has to wonder as a thinking, rational person if he means those words and if they ring hollow to Americans who have been looking for him to say those things and stay the course, as Angela has said, instead of trafficking in bigotry, in racism, in anti-Semitism, in hate, and making excuses for us. I want to believe it. I want to believe it, but I sat in this very seat last night and gave a blow-by-blow explanation of why his revisionist history of what happened in Charlottesville and what he said afterwards, why it was a total lie. So how do we reconcile that as America? I'm going to be real here. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, oh, well, what do you have to say? What do you have to say? And, oh, let's hear the president. I'm going to be real. How do you believe him? What should we believe?
Can't believe him. 10 minutes and 10 talking heads devoted to figuring out a way to communicate that President Trump's sympathies should be discounted because he's a racist, he's a bigot. We're too busy sawing sawdust over Charlottesville, which is what CNN spent the entire weekend doing. The heroes at CNN, I should say, should hasten to add. How do you believe him? I don't know, the rabbi did. I guess it's whose agenda you're serving, maybe. You think that has something to do with it? You see, Don Lemon is serving Jeff Zucker's agenda, the D.C. press corps' agenda. The rabbi in San Diego is serving God's. You see the difference? Will and Skokie are on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, you doing, guys? Don Lemon is engaging in revisionist history of revisionist history. So, you come out first with a narrative and you lie about it, and then you call everybody else revisionist.
Yes.
Our synagogue, we have 3 people who are concealed carry licensees, and we provide security for our place. And people just have to realize it's evil. It's just plain evil. They keep looking for psychological reasons and political reasons and all this other stuff for this kind of thing, and mainly to stroke their own agenda, as opposed to it's an attack on religion, and that's always evil. And enough said, but people don't want to realize there's evil anymore in the world. So, you do away with the devil, and you can do away with God. So, have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks for the call, Will.
And
Well
Rabbi
said.
Goldstein said yesterday, too, that the Border Patrol agent who traveled 3.5 hours every Saturday, he told him, you've got a gun, bring your gun with you to the synagogue. And he did.
He's an officer.
So,
I mean, it's...
So even though they had security, the guy still got in, and thank God, again, his gun jammed.
And by the way, the politicization of this across the board, so tedious. It's so small. So I include Kellyanne Conway in that. Kellyanne Conway, before this happened, tweeting out, I see officials who get a lot of airtime in ink, like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman, who tweets many times about the mosque, but never once about Sri Lanka. Yeah, I don't care. What is that? I don't need AOC or any other politician to weigh in on every event, every massacre, in order for them to have registered their pro forma comments. Are you looking to AOC for intellectual or interfaith leadership on any of this? If you're not, then don't pay any attention to it. Why do we look to politicians first? The last people we should look to. That's not to say they're not also human beings, and you take them at face value, and somebody makes an overture to extend well wishes, offer prayers, offer help of some sort within their purview, that you don't accept it. Of course you do. But this endless sniping, political sniping, in the wake of things that are so much more important, it's just so tiresome, isn't it? David in Evanston.
Good morning. I just want to tell you that I attend a large evangelical church. I'm a licensed concealed carry. I and a number of my fellow brethren who are concealed carry, we carry to church, and some people would find that incongruent. If nothing ever happens, nobody even knows we carry.
Right.
But we understand that when we mass to worship, we are looked upon by some as innocent lambs ready for slaughter. And so we are there to worship our God, but also to defend ourselves if we need to.
Thanks for the
It's
call.
unfortunate, but that's the reality of our time.
Thanks for the call, David. Kurt in Buffalo Grove.
You know, you mentioned that there were 8 to 10 people on that panel, and it just amazes me that Don Lemon can go on his little rant and blame the president for anti-Semitism. Now, if he wants to go on the racism, we're used to that. But all of the anti-Semitism is coming from the far left. Donald Trump's the best friend to Israel in four administrations. And Don Lemon just throws out that he's anti-Semitic, and none of the people on there called him on that?
Yeah, right.
That is just insane.
Well, they want to be
Yeah.
invited
Thanks for the
back,
call,
so you
Kurt.
can't disagree with them.
Yeah, I mean,
Honestly, that's how it works, and that's their bread and butter. They get money. Every time they pop up onto that set as a contributor, boom, cha-ching, they get cash.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you're going to go on that show if you're Mary Catherine Ham, who was on that panel, and you're not going to
push back,
say something, or be allowed to say something. Then what's the point? Then you're just party to Don Lemone's ignorance.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
One of the biggest fears for retirees and soon-to-be retirees, do I have enough? Do I have enough money to last for the rest of my life? I hear it every day when I meet with individuals, and it's for good reason. Check this statistic out. If you were born in 1800, you could expect to live until you were 39 years old. In 1900, 49. That number jumped to 68 in 1950, and today it's 79. How many people do you know that are in their 80s, in their 90s? Hi, this is Tom Fortino, host of the Alpha Wealth Hour, heard every Saturday at 9 a.m. here on AM 560. So how do you help ensure you never run out of money in retirement? The answers are in our special report, Maximizing Income in Retirement. In this powerful report, you'll discover successful tools and strategies on how to help turbocharge your income in retirement and how to position and protect your money regardless of what happens in the stock market. Call now to receive this report, Maximizing Income in Retirement, and will include 6 strategies to tax-free income. Call the Alpha Wealth Group, 630-519-4742 right now to receive your free report. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
Hey, Dan, I have the best birthday present for you. How about some balance of nature?
I'll stick with my gin. And I appreciate you getting that for me.
10 servings of 31 fruits and veggies, all in a single capsule. There's no dyes or preservatives, because admit it, none of us are eating enough fruits and veggies on our own. And that's why Balance of Nature is so great. It's easy and healthy. It helps boost your energy. It helps with muscle cramps. It helps with a lot of things. I've met the founder and creator of Balance of Nature, Dr. Douglas Howard. Very passionate about his product. He believes in it, and he loves helping his customers, real people, you know, who are living healthier lives because of Balance of Nature. So get on board and try Balance of Nature, and now's the perfect time to start. because you can lock in your price for fruits and vegetables today and get free shipping on every order. If you lock in now, you won't pay more when the cost of produce starts to rise later this year. So call today, 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use promo code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com. Promo code Chicago.
Varicose and spider veins. Wow, what a gift from my mom. She had them, I got them, and not only are they uncomfortable and sometimes painful, but I stopped wearing skirts and shorts because I was embarrassed and I really hated the way my legs looked. When my kids asked me, "What are those things on your legs?" I was done. I finally went to Vein Clinics of America. The procedure took about an hour and I was right back to work. What they're doing with lasers these days is unbelievable. The staff made me feel so comfortable, and the results, well, even my husband has noticed. Vein Clinics of America has been treating vein disease for over 35 years. They're the largest and most experienced in the U.S. Look, I've been doing the commercials for Vein Clinics for years because I really believe in them, and you can trust them too. The best part, my insurance covered the procedure, so stop hiding your legs. Call Vein Clinics of America now to see if you qualify for a free consultation. Call 800-375-8900, 800-375-8900. That's 800-375-8900.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, the politics and sports beat that we do from time to time. A couple interesting notes. You know, the NFL draft going on all weekend.
Yeah. Who did the Bears select?
Danny Montgomery is the key running back, plays Jordan Howard.
Right.
Iowa State.
I knew that.
President Trump weighed in on the NFL draft, particularly for Nick Bosa. He was drafted by the 49ers, Ohio State Buckeyes. He is, a lot of people thought he should go number one, but of course that was Kyler Murray. Congratulations to Nick Bosa on being picked number 2 in the NFL draft. You will be a great player for years to come, maybe one of the best. Big talent, exclamation point. San Francisco will embrace you, but most importantly, always stay true to yourself. Make America great again. Nick Bosa was selected because Bosa had been a critic of Colin Kaepernick and his kneel-down theater.
Really?
Yeah.
And then he was chosen by the 49ers? Wow.
Bosa called Kaepernick a clown back in 2016 and also said he was a racist after tweeting that he didn't like the superhero movie Black Panther. He sort of apologized for some of his comments, gave the pro forma, but I don't know, Trump knows where Nick Boss's heart lies, I should say.
And do you have some pull in Washington? Because University of Virginia men's basketball team has declined.
National champs.
Yeah, they're national champs. They declined the President Trump's invitation to join him at the White House. And I was thinking if they said no, maybe since I have to be a chaperone for my son's D.C. trip this week, that maybe they could take the Blaine Blue Jays girls volleyball team, that we could take the trophy there, back-to-back championships, and have some fast food with President Trump.
Have them stand in for the Virginia men's basketball team?
Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
They'll
Not
show
bad.
quality in sports and just do something different. You know, having a Chicago middle school girls volleyball championship team in the White House would be very prestigious and, you know, a notch in his cap.
I like it, but you wouldn't. How many Blaine parents would be upset with you for doing that?
Oh, I don't think they would. They would let him go.
I mean, this whole thing, you know, we've talked about this before. Like, oh, the invitation, it was rejected. And it's like, you know, and they gave like some convenient excuse. We have players that are pursuing pro opportunities, moving on from UVA. Difficult to put everybody together. Fine. Hey, Tony Bennett, you don't want to take your team. You want to, not create any waves with the Virginia Minstrel Party headed up by Ralph Northam.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, fine. Don't come. Whatever. The Blaine Blue Jays will come.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Important 60 Minutes story yesterday on fentanyl and China, and we'll have it at 8:38.
But first, let's go straight into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Cloudy skies, heavy rain showers, and 43 degrees at 8:32. Elevated traffic times and travel times on the area roads. Jim Telemonti will be along in just a moment. Officials in France have very little to say, but they have confirmed they have headed off a possible terror attack there. We'll have details when they become available from the French government. That is all they are saying right now. The woman who died in a shooting at a synagogue in Southern California will be laid to rest yesterday. Grief-stricken members of the synagogue say 60-year-old Lori Kay took a bullet for the Jewish community and her rabbi near San Diego on Saturday morning. Meetings with union members in Pittsburgh will happen today. It's how former Vice President Joe Biden will spend the day as he hits the campaign trail. Pentagon is relieving a Guantanamo Bay commander of his duty. Defense Department saying Rear Admiral John Ring has been replaced due to a loss of confidence in his ability to command. Well, you probably saw it. Avengers Endgame destroying box office records over the weekend. The Marvel's superhero franchise took in an estimated $350 million at U.S. and Canadian theaters since Friday. It's grossed an estimated $859 million outside of North America. A man is dead following a crash on Lakeshore Drive, Chicago's near north side. The victim was driving a sedan at a high rate of speed when he slammed into the barriers near the Oak Street curve. Parents of a 5-year-old Crystal Lake boy found dead last week are scheduled to be back in court today. Joanne Cunningham and Andrew Friend remain jailed on $5 million bond each. And there's a fire burning this morning in England near the woods that made Winnie the Pooh famous. Fire's been burning since Sunday night. Rescue service there says the fire has burned about 70 acres. Firefighters say the fire took off because of dry undergrowth in that forest. The woods were the inspiration for the 100-acre wood, the home of children's favorite Pooh Bear and his friends. Reynaldo Lopez and 3 relievers combined for 20 strikeouts. White Sox topped the Tigers 4-1. Cubs 6-5 winners over the D-backs in Phoenix last night in 15 innings. The news service of Express Services Incorporated. You know what it takes to succeed. Now it's time to put your experience to work. Launch your business for a limited time. Express Employment Professionals will give you $25,000 to open your franchise. Get to know Express. Visit expressfranchising.com today. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is not the biggest fan of social media.
I don't want to do Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm sorry. People spend more time apologizing and taking stuff down and getting blasted. I hate it. That's why I only post animal videos. I only post cute puppy pictures and videos on Twitter. I ain't doing it.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
The quivers, the shivers, goosebumps. That's what our customers say before 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning repairs their furnace. Call us. We'll fix it right, stand by our work, and give you our straightforward pricing, which means no hourly charges. How's that for goosebumps? Right now, get big savings on any heating repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Raj Shah, host of Secure Retirement Radio.
I spoke to one person and, I asked him a simple question is, what do you want to do with your retirement? And he said, I want to protect it. Because if it does go down and not come back, do you have enough time in the market to recover those losses?
Tune in for Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah, Chicago's safe money strategist. Sunday mornings at 7 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, look at this.
Why are you on your phone? We have dinner reservations.
I'm getting a quote for life insurance from Ethos. Just look.
Wow. I thought it would be more expensive.
A friend told me about Ethos. It's a new, straightforward kind of term life insurance that offers policies for any budget. Let's do an estimate for you.
Do we have time?
You just answer 4 simple questions to get an instant quote.
These are easy questions.
And there's the instant quote.
Seriously? That was really fast.
I know, right? And the online application only takes about 10 minutes. No pushy agents. And in most cases, no medical exams. It's perfect for us.
Can we apply right now?
Why not? And after dinner, maybe we can celebrate.
You know what? Ethos is perfect for us.
Ethos is ethical term life insurance. Straightforward and super fast. Don't put it off. Go to ethoslife.com for a free instant quote now. ethoslife.com. That's ethoslife.com.
8:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Traffic is pretty heavy everywhere, but especially on the inbound Kennedy from Harlem to the Burns Circle. It is an hour and 30 minutes O'Hare to downtown, an hour from Montrose, 58 minutes in the Express, up on 52 to the airport. Eden's 27 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction. Van Eyck, an hour and 5 minutes, 390 to downtown, 45 minutes from Manheim, up on an hour and 8 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour and a half, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 36 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 32 minutes, 90 to the merge Bishop Ford, an hour. Northbound Tri-State, it's heavy from 115th and Ridgeland all the way up to the Adams Tollway. It's about Adams Tollway, 25 to 53 and lead to the Tri-State. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Morning rain, some of the rainfall very heavy, cloudy, cool throughout the day, high 54, currently 43. Next news at 9, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and the issue of fentanyl, the driver of what's described as the opioids epidemic. Fentanyl and opioid deaths in the United States in 2017, 47,000. 47,000 dead as a result of opioid intake. Obviously, that's more than the number of people killed in car accidents. Fentanyl, 50 times more potent than heroin, some strains of it 100 times. This was the story on 60 Minutes last night, tracking fentanyl's distribution in the United States. And where does it come from? China. And how is it distributed? The U.S. Postal System.
Oh, it just mails it right to your door? Who knew?
Scott Pelley reporting. He starts with James Rao from Ohio, who lost his son, 37-year-old son, to opioid overdose.
They told me that the drug was so powerful that he was unable to finish his injection, and then he died immediately.
He didn't even finish the injection?
He'd only just started the injection. He didn't even have a chance.
James Rao's son, Tom, was 37 when he died in 2015. He'd started opioids years before after an injury. When his prescription ran out, he turned to heroin. He'd been in and out of rehab more than half a dozen times when fentanyl inundated Ohio.
There was something extremely dangerous going on.
And so 60 Minutes investigators start to trace the distribution system for fentanyl in the United States.
Any drugs he could ever imagine over the internet from China.
Cronin's investigators went online and discovered overseas labs offering most any illegal drug.
And we just said, hey, according to the source's instructions, we're interested in buying fentanyl. And the result was, to say the least, surprising. We have dozens, probably over 50 different drug trafficking networks reaching out to us saying, we have fentanyl. We have even more powerful fentanyl analogs. Whatever you want. We'll get it for you for cheap. We'll get it for you in bulk.
You got 50 replies.
At least.
And all of these came from where?
It was universally China.
What did you do next?
Instead of trying to find our way to a target, we had far too many.
That's Matt Cronin, who's a assistant U.S. attorney in Ohio, talking about law enforcement trying to interdict this. And here's what they discovered about the U.S. postal system as the supply chain.
These are all related to cases that involve the mail or the use of the postal system. So somebody put this into a box, sealed it up, and sent it through the postal system.
The United States postal system has been for many years the most reliable way to smuggle drugs from China to the U.S.
That has to stop. It should have stopped years ago.
That's Rob Portman.
I had no idea.
Rob Portman, U.S. Senator from Ohio, talking to Scott Pelley, and more details on how the law is different. In the wake of 9/11, the law is different for private carriers like FedEx as compared to the U.S. postal system. Listen to this.
Which was that people who were trafficking in fentanyl told us, if you send it through the post office, we guarantee delivery. If you send it through a private carrier, not so.
That's because after 9/11, all private carriers like FedEx were required to give U.S. Customs advanced descriptions and tracking of foreign packages. The Postal Service was allowed to delay because of the cost.
They gave the post office some time and said, you need to give us a report as to how you can also comply with this. That was 16 years ago, Scott.
It's primarily produced in laboratories in China, and it's primarily coming to the United States through the United States mail system.
16 years since they changed the law for private carriers, but exempted the government. Familiar story, isn't it? The ruling class. Because the cost. Don't worry about the cost as it pertains to a private carrier. They need to figure out how to make it work and still make money. Government, they don't need to figure out either. 47,000 dead. And you're hearing from law enforcement, United States Senator Portman, coming through the government-run postal system. Are you fracking kidding me? We've seen it here in this region.
I mean, I'm just, you're trying to, as a mom of teenage boys, you're just trying to keep them off of it.
Portman,
keep them away from it.
Portman authored and passed a law requiring the post office to comply.
Oh, he did? Yeah.
With what FedEx and other private carriers have been complying with for 16 years. And so they're in the they're in the process of implementing the same systems that FedEx has had for 16 years. But according to 60 Minutes reporting, only 1/3 of the packages currently being processed by the U.S. Postal System are actually scanned and detailed the way that they are on private carriers. 47,000 dead. Online companies shipping this poison through our postal system. Undetected because there's one set of rules for government, one set of rules for private carriers. It's remarkable. Don't you love government accountability? And the other piece of this is China. As you'll hear from law enforcement, if China wanted to stop this illicit online fentanyl business, they could do it overnight. They haven't wanted to.
Money, so why stop?
Well, they haven't wanted to, and that's changing, at least rhetorically. a concession gained by the Trump administration.
The feds also shut down what prosecutors say were the Xing's 40 websites selling illegal drugs in 20 languages. We don't know if their lab shut down, but the network has been, at least for now.
It is a fact that the People's Republic of China is the source for the vast majority of synthetic opioids that are flooding the streets of the United States and Western democracies. It is a fact that these synthetic opioids are responsible for the overwhelming increase in overdose deaths in the United States. And it is a fact that if the People's Republic of China wanted to shut down the synthetic opioid industry, they could do so in a day.
China has been criticized by the U.S. government for failing to put the many forms of fentanyl on its list of controlled drugs. Now, in a concession, China says next month all derivatives of fentanyl will be on its list.
So, I mean...
So we're not fixing the problem, but China will try and help out?
Well, we're forcing China to the table on the topic. You have politicians from both parties at all levels of government prattling on about opioid abuse and what they're going to do about it. This is one of those examples of bipartisanship, right, in terms of tackling a topic. Yeah. And what else? What do we find out? What do we find out is that there's been bipartisan failure for the better part of the last 2 decades. The ruling class mentality. Chuck in Delavan, Wisconsin. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Thank you. This is Chuck from Delavan. Once again, read the Constitution of the United States. Congress is in charge of all naturalization and immigration. Congress is also in charge of all post offices and all postal roads. It's right there in black and white on the Declaration of Independence. Why Congress will not do their job is just unbelievable, and nobody takes and calls them on it. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the
call,
Chuck.
They've had 16 years to comply, and they can't do it.
They do. This is how it works.
So
they passed the law in the wake of 9/11 when everybody's focused on securing big systems that would be vulnerable to terrorist attack. But you exempt the government because the post office says, we can't make our numbers work. So the last thing we need to endure is another capital expenditure. They impose it on the private carriers. And then everybody forgets about it until either one politician sort of starts to dig into it with law enforcement, as apparently Rob Portman did. And then you get some media profile after 47,000 people are dead in a single year in 2017 because you're not preventing the distribution of fentanyl through your own postal system. Government providing for the physical security of its residents, its citizens in this case, since we're talking about the federal government.
And it's so crazy. I mean, it could be used, as a shot, a patch that's put on a person's skin, or as a lozenge like you would suck on a cough drop.
The other thing about this, too, and I'm critical of Trump's approach with China as it pertains to trade policy, but by taking a hard line on China and by raising this issue and by trying to tackle the opioid crisis in some material way, there's at least the possibility of some movement in the direction of identification and shutting down these traffickers, that utilize websites.
And I hope they do something today because they are having trade talks today in Beijing.
John in Waukegan, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Dan, don't forget that under the Bush administration in 2006, they imposed that tax on the post office. They had to pay off the next 50 or 75 years of health benefits and insurance in 10 years. There's no obligation like that anywhere in the world. It was just flat-out fraud. And they are still struggling with that to this day.
Thanks, John. Tom in Deer Park.
We're 50 years into the war on drugs, and now we've got China producing this stuff. You get 500 doses out of the size of a pack of sugar.
Yeah.
So if we want to talk about the Chinese government and how it's their state policy to steal our technology and just take the feet out from underneath our companies, it's certainly in their self-interest to destroy our culture and getting this stuff over here. Like I said, 500 doses in a pack of sugar. I like to blame the post office for everything. I have absolutely no idea how we're going to address a problem like this when you've got such a concentrated drug in such a small amount.
Well, thanks for the call, Tom. I mean, apparently FedEx has addressed it, right?
DHL too, yeah.
I mean, so with the technology that we have, you can't. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's available. That's beyond my scope of knowledge with respect to how you can scan packages to identify these substances. But it seems like FedEx has figured it out. Why not the Postal Service? Yeah. Also, you're right about that too. I mean, when you watch the 60 Minutes piece, like a loose leaf paper-sized bag of this strain of fentanyl, the U.S. attorney that Scott Pelley was talking to, that amount of fentanyl could provide a lethal dosage to 250,000 people. I mean,
and this stuff is 50 to 100% more potent than morphine.
Right. This is why, you heard that gentleman Rao talk about his son. His son died before he even finished injecting the full dose. That's how powerful it is. Think about this, too, in the context of our conversation about drug legalization. Because there's a lot of people, libertarians, and other people, central planners, who see human beings as just revenue generators for the state, who want to go well beyond marijuana to hard drugs, synthetic drugs, too, everything. Think about that.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. The storm season is here. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for sudden damage and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
This is Dr. Howard, founder and formulator of Balance of Nature. We're changing America one life at a time.
I went to the doctor yesterday, and she said that I'll probably live to be 100 years old. My heart sounded good. Everything sounded good. My blood pressure, it has not been that low in a long, long time. With these capsules, I'm getting the vegetables and the fruit that I need. I know my husband has seen a difference in the way I am.
As you know, the price of produce is always on the rise. Have the confidence to know you're getting the best possible price for organically grown whole fruits and vegetables with Balance of Nature. Call now to see how you can lock in your price of fruits and vegetables and get free shipping on every order. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents. When generic insurance takes hold, one handsome man and one flightless bird are teaming up to save the world. Money. Their message? Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. Their mission? Savings. Their relationship? Best friends. Say hello to Liberty Mutual's new spokes team. And Doug.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer. State laws apply.
Napa know-how.
You don't have to know fancy terms like ceramic, metallic, and calipers to know that this sound isn't a good thing. And now at most Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers, you'll get a $75 prepaid Visa card when you spend $250 on brakes. Do it yourself or have it done for you and save $75. That's Napa Know-How.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers. Exclusions apply. Offer ends 5/31/19.
varicose and spider veins. Wow, what a gift from my mom. She had them, I got them, and not only are they uncomfortable and sometimes painful, but I stopped wearing skirts and shorts because I was embarrassed and I really hated the way my legs looked. When my kids asked me, "What are those things on your legs?" I was done. I finally went to Vein Clinics of America. The procedure took about an hour and I was right back to work. What they're doing with lasers these days is unbelievable. The staff made me feel so comfortable, and the results, well, even my husband has noticed. Vein Clinics of America has been treating vein disease for over 35 years. They're the largest and most experienced in the U.S. Look, I've been doing the commercials for vein clinics for years because I really believe in them, and you can trust them too. The best part, my insurance covered the procedure, so stop hiding your legs. Call Vein Clinics of America now to see if you qualify for a free consultation. Call 800-375-8900, 800-375-8900. That's 800-375-8900.
As many as 25,000 Chicagoans have Charcot-Marie tooth disease. CMT is inherited and causes deterioration of the nerves that control muscle function of the foot and lower leg and hand and forearm. This deterioration is progressive, so the effects on your body get worse as you grow older, leading to significant problems with movement, touch, and balance as it advances. There is no treatment to ease the problems, and there is no cure for CMT. But you can help the CMT Research Foundation find a cure for CMT and have a great time doing it. Sign up to play in the CMT Research Foundation's Golf Challenge, being held Monday, June 24th at the Merritt Club in Libertyville, Illinois. Space is limited to 25 foursomes and is first come, first serve. Your foursome fee donation also includes lunch and dinner. There will be some great prizes, a putting contest, a closest to the hole contest, and 4 chances to win a brand new BMW if you can sink a hole in one. For more information, call Pat Livney, CMT Research Foundation Chairman and Founder, at 847-609-8525.
Someday, someone you love will ask for help. And although Lake County Right to Life is not a crisis center, it is an educational and political organization involved in educating the public about current life issues and legislations. They take an active part in both the educational and lobbying aspects of the Right to Life movement. They formed the Lake County PAC to actively work in helping elect local Lake County candidates who are pro-life, pro-family legislators. These people support life-affirming legislation. Please help the cause. A crisis program center saves lives one at a time. Legislation saves thousands of lives. Lake County Right to Life supports women, mothers and fathers, unborn babies, families, and the elderly. Good public policy is supposed to protect the most vulnerable and does not impose on a taxpayer to pay for the lesser good, namely abortion. That takes everybody working together. For donations or information, visit lcrtl.org. That's lcrtl.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
Amy, you'll be happy to know the Baylor Bears, the Lady Bears, are accepting the invitation to the White House. They won the women's NCAA tournament.
Oh, good. And happy birthday to you, Dan
Thank
Croft.
you. As a friend informed me, Mozart had been dead 13 years by the time he would have been my age, so it tells me how little I've accomplished in my life. Thank you so much.
And also, just so you know, Man Cow wished you a happy birthday.
Oh, that was very nice of him.
Yeah, very nice.
Appreciate that.
Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical producer, and Quinn McCarthy, who is our
party clown.
Party clown. That's right. Great animal balloons he made this morning for your birthday. We're back bright and early tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now here is Mike Scott.
A Berwyn woman killed in a fiery crash along I-55. Cubs top the D-backs in 15 innings.